Joey Reynolds Show, Sunday night live from the future of radio and TV Space Center, locked in Stage 17, high atop Madison Square Garden in New York City. Video stream at SundayNightLive.com. Big J Sorensen, who are Joey's guests tonight?
Thanks, Shotgun Tom Kelly in L.A. Joey's got award-winning stage, screen, and TV actor Tova Feldshuh, longtime guitar and bass player for Paul McCartney, singer, composer, and vocalist of his own band, The Bayonets, Brian Ray, book publisher, TV and radio host, and CEO of Regan Arts, Judith Regan, Hollywood media expert and author Michael Levine, along with jazz vocalist and songwriter Sarah Partridge, King of the Universe, superstar biographer Marc Elliott, comedian and filmmaker Marc Malkoff, a transmedia or transdisciplinary artist, Phoebe Legere, and her fiddler friend Greg Holt, the comedy of twin brothers Todd and Adam Stone, plus singers America's
What are you guys
Sweethearts.
talking about?
And now,
Come over here.
here's Joey!
Joey lovely. It's a nice room.
Swing, Joey, swing!
Burn, baby.
Joey Reynolds Show!
What a show.
On radio. Go, 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 go!
Are we on again?
I think so.
Did we make it another week?
I think so, yeah.
I thought this is a one-shot.
Nah.
I guess, we don't want to do a political show.
No.
I don't want it. When we decided to do this, we said there's too much politics on the air. There's too much of the sports. They don't need me.
No.
They don't need me to do that.
No.
And now we got to put up with Ryan Seacrest again. I mean, how many times are we going to celebrate mediocrity? Is this going to be like a national holiday?
Like nobody else could have been picked. Nobody else.
Well, they only let the same 5 guys do everything. Jamie Foxx is on television now with a new $1 million thing. I'm promoting when you do this. You
Yes,
promote.
of course.
But there's so many serious things that are going on that we really are serious. We should be talking about. Aunt Jemima was recalled.
Get out!
Yeah, that's right. Uncle
Really?
Ben is next. I'm probably going to arrest Jimmy Dean for playing with his sausage. There's just nothing.
after you.
Nothing is sacred anymore.
No, there isn't.
And it's Cinco de Mayo was the other day.
yesterday,
Actually.
Yeah.
Well, 5. It's
Yeah,
5.
right.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco.
It's a very Cinco de Mayo.
Like this show's doing right now.
That's Cinco de ratings. It's another holiday. But they got Trump over at my father used to say the trouble with the Kennedys,
Yes.
he wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. He was just a complainer.
Right.
And he said the trouble with the Kennedys is they should sleep in and stop trying to think of things for us to do. Remember when Kennedy wanted us to do this,
all
the
this
Peace
kind-
Corps, and
yes.
we got to join this and
Yeah.
not what you do for your country. And then we had so many things going on. The Vietnam War came along, and then we had Cuba. And we were very upset about a lot of things, mainly Charles Manson. Remember,
Yeah,
he
that
had
was the late 60s, yeah.
that terrible crime he committed, killed
Horrible.
Sharon Tate.
Because of the Beatles.
Tate, yeah. And he went to jail. Now he wants to be released.
Yeah.
It's been a number of years, and he is in solitary confinement. And he wants to get out because he can't stand the company. That's what he said. Just a bad joke. Anyway, back to the story.
Thank you.
So my father used to say the trouble with the Kennedys is they ought to sleep in.
Yeah.
And today I saw where Trump was in bed all weekend.
Yes.
And then I finished the sentence.
Uh-oh.
Bedminster.
There you go, Bedminster. That's in New Jersey.
It's in
It's
New
a town
Jersey,
in
yeah.
New Jersey where he stays.
And he's friends with Murdoch and Murdoch's Fox and all all this stuff is
please.
going
It's
to be
all
all
incestuous.
week.
I
They're going to
know.
be doing this.
I know, it's all they
I'm
have.
doing it now. I shouldn't
Because
be doing
that's
it.
all they have.
No, it isn't. It's, you know what we have? We have a confederacy of dunces. You've got a bunch of people who get on the radio and on the television, and they don't have any material. So when they run out of material, wait. Down in Florida, we have weather girls with big boobs.
Excellent.
That part's excellent, but they're pregnant.
Oh.
We wonder what they've been doing in that newsroom. What's going on back there? Is it a fertilization station or something? But we got negative flow of talent on the air. So now we have to watch naked girls doing the weather.
Excellent.
Now in Florida there is no weather.
It's always the same.
Well,
Chance of
except
thunder
for
showers.
May to November, that's called the hurricane
Right.
season. There's a little bit of that. And then here, of course, we have this goofy season that we're going through now. Today was a Bikeminster Day, not Bedminster. We had 18,000 bikers.
Yeah, I know.
There was more backpedaling than they had in the Senate. I mean, I've never seen anything like it this week. It was all these people gearing up, buying the equipment and then eating high carbs. So all the restaurants are doing good. They eat pasta. That's what you do when you're
I saw them carrying their bikes onto the subway.
I saw them closing down 5 boroughs. I don't know what you saw, but I drove like a Harry Simeon Corral, right? Did you see what I see? Did you hear what I hear?
Did you hear what I hear?
I drove through five boroughs today, on my check, because I am the honorary mayor of New York,
yes.
And Florida. See, I don't want to tell everybody that I live in Florida, because I used to commute when I was on WOR. I commuted every weekend to Florida. I kept the kids in the same school.
That was nice.
And then I would come back to New York on Monday. I would get off the air after a 5-hour show on Saturday morning, go to Florida, and come back on Monday. Now it's the reverse. I go down to Florida and I come back here. I can't get this right.
You can't, no.
But I'm on that JetBlue flight, the one where they have too many. I talked about this last week. There's too many fake cripples. I mean, everybody orders a wheelchair.
Did you
so
say
they
the
can
word cripples?
Well, they want whatever you want to call them. I mean, what do you want to do? Midgets are midgets. They're not just short people. They're dwarfs.
Fine.
Come on.
Okay.
Indians are Indians.
Well.
Native Americans. What is everybody's trying to get around what we want to really say? Just say what you got to say. Be like Yogi Berra.
Fine.
And that, it ain't over till it's over. But it's almost over for me if I keep talking this way. We got Tova Feldshuh here. Now, she's one of my favorite actresses in the world, and a very, very good person and a good friend. And she's lovely, and I haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
3 hits ago. I haven't seen her. Tova, sit down. How are you?
Sit down.
And while you're sitting down, I want to introduce Frankie Hudak, because Frankie's going to do the Cinco de Mayo greeting today. You're going to do this is what's happened to the radio on Spanish. All right, come on, introduce the show like you would if you were on one of those Spanish stations that took over one of the good AM stations.
Hola, amigo y amigas. Welcome. Oh no, I'm so into English now. But I had todo Cinco de Mayo last night, señor. Toma tu drink. Bienvenido otra vez, amigos. Escuchando a Tito Sur, que está en el marco del 5 de Mayo. Mi amigo. Y 77 Tova.
Feldshuh.
Okay,
Zapato
good.
de campo.
Gracias, mi amor.
De nada.
See, he almost went to his Jewish thing.
Yeah, it almost went.
She had a beautiful
Which
voice.
reminds me, Jay,
Yes.
while Tova's here,
Yes.
you're going to be a classic Jew. Put that thing on. No, the other way.
Oh, the other way.
way's got the Jew thing on it, not the back.
How's that?
You look great.
Whoa, you look great.
I do. I'm wearing glasses now.
I love you, Tova. I love you.
I love you too.
Now, Tova was the best moment for me was a show that she probably doesn't even think about. She's done so many of them. The Kilt.
Oh,
The thing
thank
that you did, and it was a Canadian writer, I think,
That's
about
correct.
Scottish.
It was about a Scottish dance school in Canada.
Yeah.
And I did it. It was the first show I did for Michael Parva, who would then direct me on Broadway in Arena's Vow, which was about a Polish Christian rescuer. And I loved doing that show. It was a Glasgow accent, but I haven't spoken it in a long time.
I saw it about 5 times,
Thank
and
you,
then
Joey.
Golda Meir, when you play Goldie,
Thank you.
Golda. I watched that about 10 times. I could
You're the
sneak in the
best.
back.
I'm going to do it in Montreal next year. I do it once a year, like Wendy and Peter Pan. I did 3 weeks in
that's
Toronto.
great.
Did you ever see her play Golda Meir?
I've never seen it, no, I
It's
didn't.
first of all, it's historically correct.
Correct, yeah.
And then you first of all you buy into it, I should say, and then it's historically correct. Now there's a series on Netflix now, The Crown,
Yes. it's
with John Lithgow is an amazing Winston Churchill.
Even though he's too tall for Churchill.
Well, but he's
Churchill
hunched over.
was a shrimpo. But John Lithgow's the greatest. He's
And
excellent.
I thought of you when I was watching this, because he was in that show. The way that they're doing this 1-hour series for 10, I guess they did 10
it was
movies.
fabulous.
That's the caliber that you were in. And-
You're a doll.
Well, no, I mean really, that's and I said, if there's anybody that's American that would be in that thing, it would be her. But
Thank you.
the Queen Mother, maybe. at
That's
this
right.
time.
That's right. I'm involved now with a musical about Leona Helmsley called Queen of Mean. And if
no.
that gets mounted, I'm going to play Leona Helmsley.
Wow.
I'm very, very excited. I love the young writers that are writing it, and of course, it's an opera. Yes, I'll have
The dog.
I'll have a
Okay,
dog.
good.
But more importantly, I got to find a path into her, and I will find it, and you will understand why she is the way she is, so that you don't just hate her.
Right.
Oh, I don't hate her at all. I think, as a matter of fact, this station, WABC in New York, the ABC company, was owned by Cap Cities Broadcasting, and they lived in the diocese of New York, which is what Leona Helmsley.
That's right.
It became the palace.
It was magnificent. I had a huge party in the. I think it was that very famous restaurant was in the Palace Theater before it moved, and it will hit me which it was. But I remember I had a long table for 50 people, and Donna Hanover was there. The ex-Prime Minister of Canada was. It was very exciting. It was my 50th birthday, which is impossible since I'm still 39.
Yes, of course.
Right.
The Leona Helmsley stuff you're going to have when she was in jail.
Yes, but we're going to go way, way before that, when she was
In love with Harry?
well, before that, when she was this little kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This tough kid, and she was an assistant to an assistant, and she was with clients because the real estate agent wasn't up there, up in this huge apartment, which was a fortune. And as they were leaving, she said, "Wait a minute, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this with this apartment." And that couple bought the apartment, and she got credit for that sale.
Wow.
And she sings, "Hey there, New York, what you do to me."
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful piece. Anyway, I hope to do that, but before that, I'm doing this big gala on May 14th.
What is it?
It's called The Leading Ladies, and it's for the National Yiddish Volksbühne Theater, which is going to happen at the Skirball downtown, right next to NYU. And myself and David Hyde Pierce and a host of Broadway stars and a host of Yiddish stars and starlets who are fluent in the language will be doing a program with an all-woman orchestra. So it's a Mother's Day honoring of the mother, and of course with the use of Yiddish. And many people think I'm an expert in Yiddish. I'm not. When I'm tutored in it, I can sing in it. But when I went to Poland to research Irena's vow, a Catholic country, there is a huge resurgence of Yiddish and the study of Jewish culture by non-Jewish people. Huge. It's spoiled.
We got that in Brooklyn.
You got that in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Anyway, so these guys, this theater, the Volksbühne, the National Yiddish Theater, was founded in 1915, and when Yiddish was out of fashion, when it was considered ghetto talk in Israel, and you shouldn't speak it, you should only speak Hebrew because the Jews were moving forward and out of the Holocaust, these stalwarts, these Judah Maccabees, if you will, of Yiddish, stuck with this Yiddish theater, and they have never missed a season since 1915. Wow. Not a bad run, 102 years. And they were celebrating them for $300 a piece. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
really
today
supports
I texted Ed Asner because I heard him on a promo for the Holocaust survivors. There's so
right.
very few left, but there's a fund, and I heard him do that. I love Ed. Ed's very controversial. But he's outspoken.
I love him. I just did the Soap Myth with him by Jeffrey Cohn. We did a reading of it for the Marc Taper Forum and up in Marin County, again sponsored by many, many non-Jews. And he's still got his artistic marbles. That guy's terrific.
I saw him in the Scopes trial.
He's
saw him do
great.
that. He's a great actor.
I hugged him, and he said, "I'm available."
You know Michael Levine? Have you met him?
Yes.
Well,
I
he's
met
here,
him.
and
Is he?
Judith Reagan.
Yeah.
And we should bring them out here.
Well,
Wow.
But
we have
before
to
we
take a
do that,
break.
just sit where you are, Tova. You're not in a hurry, are you?
Yeah.
No, not with you.
You also have another event coming up 2 days later on May 16th. Tell us
That's
about
correct.
that real quick.
Rolando Matalan from Buenos Aires, por eso yo puedo hablar español, is being honored as a hero of justice by the Truach Society here in New York City, and they asked me to MC the event. Well, he happens to be the head rabbi at B'nai Jeshurun, along with Marcelo Bronstein. All these boys are from Buenos Aires, from Argentina. Wow. So all my rabbis, they talk like this, and then I have a wonderful son-in-law, Joe Rizzoy. He talks like this. My son-in-law talks like this. He's from Uruguay. Married to my daughter, Amanda Levy Rizzoy. So.
We have a video of her because we have to take a break. We're going to play the video and go to the break.
Yeah, we got that film of that goldfish. The people have been throwing the goldfish in the toilet.
We don't have
We're
that.
not finding out
Can we
that
play that video?
well, the
Let's
goldfish
play that.
are really wanting to escape.
Thank you.
Use the bathroom. Tell me that you have a bathroom in this hovel you call home. I don't know which was bumpier, the plane ride or the taxi. All these freeways are a nightmare.
This is solo I sang
Need my
at
phone.
CW.
By the way, you're looking healthy, and by healthy I mean chunky. I don't mean that as an insult.
I
I'm
love
just
that.
stating
That's so
it as
great.
fact.
You look incredible,
I see
and
your
you're alive.
Yes,
However, the late Joey Reynolds show is brought to you by Plainview Chocolate Works. Imagine your sweet, corporate logo in Belgian chocolate. Wow. Call 516-252-3355 and let them create your logo, I should say, as an irresistible edible creation.
Your log.
Logo.
All chocolate log, you know.
PinkTide.org invites you to be a part of a night of rock and roll for a cause. Join Grammy Award-winning lead singer of Creed, Scott Stapp, as he headlines the 5th annual PinkTide.org Business Professionals Networking for a Cause event. You can be a part of one of the fastest-growing charitable networking organizations in the area. PinkTide.org brings together a network of like-minded business professionals who want to do well by doing good, positively impacting our community. On May 22nd at the Crest Hollow Country Club in Woodbury, New York, join over 2,500 business leaders and music lovers as the voice of Creed, Scott Stapp, makes his return to New York. This exciting event benefits the Don Monte Memorial Research Foundation, leaders in the fight against cancer. Be a part of the memorable night as PinkTide.org plans to raise over $500,000 in one night. Don't miss Scott Stapp, the voice of Creed, on May 22nd. For information about tickets and more, visit PinkTide.org. That's PINKTIE.org.
Hi, Cecil Fielder here, former New York Yankee World Series champ and spokesman for PinkTide.org.
Yeah, we got one.
Although I've retired from the game, I still like hitting home runs.
I don't like wearing these things because there's too many people wanting things.
Join me and other New York sports
They want
greats
performance,
at the
comedy,
5th annual
perfection.
PinkTide.org event on May 22nd, benefiting the Don Monte Memorial Research Foundation. Visit PinkTide.org and help knock cancer out of the park. That's PinkTide.org. See you there.
Social media is the marketing sensation. Every day there are over 1 billion likes and tweets around the world. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and others have taken over as the #1 form of communication. Take advantage of this phenomenon. Talk with TideInMedia.com about building a vital social media strategy. Go to TideInMedia.com. That's TideInMedia.com. They'll help guide your business through social media, web development, and marketing. Building your brand and taking your business to the next level is what Tide In Media does. Many of Tide In Media's clients have been featured on Fox News, People Magazine, MTV, and other top-tier networks. The most successful businesses are leveraging the internet. Follow in the footsteps of the late Joey Reynolds Show and visit TideInMedia.com. That's TideInMedia.com. Or call Tide In Media today at 844-373-8433. That's 844-373-8433. And tell them the late Joey Reynolds Show sent you.
Sunday Night Live with the late Joey Reynolds Show. We're on 77 WABC New York, 790 KABC Los Angeles, and the iHeartRadio app.
Nobody does me like she does. Nobody loves me like she does. When the world needs me.
Is that Brian Ray?
That's Brian Ray with the Bayonets, his band. It's a great song. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I like everything that's done well.
Yeah.
And the show is done well.
Yeah.
It's well done. No, it's done.
It's done.
That's what.
Yeah.
No, we've been here for about 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I wanted to welcome everybody who was watching us on the stream. And
Sunday
before I bring
Night
Brian
Live.
out here, Brian is touring with Paul McCartney now. He's doing 12 years. He's been with him.
15.
The Bayonets.
Wow.
15.
Now he's got a great style, and he's plays the bass as well as the guitar.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people don't know that I just have to revisit this. I'm friends with Steve Wozniak from the Woz, who created the Apple.
Yeah.
And he and the two Steves used to come to see me when I was a creative director at 20th Century Fox, and I got to know them in California. And I know them for a long time, but one of them is not with us anymore. But, Steve Woz is a great guy, and I introduced him to Les Paul. And he thought that was the honor of honors to meet Les Paul, because Les is the inventor of the electric guitar. And having done that, Paul McCartney would stand in the back of the Iridium sometimes and watch him as well, very often. Slash, all the really good guitarists. I don't know if Brian Ray ever had the pleasure, but I'll tell you this one here. When Woz met Les, he called me 3 or 4 days later, and he said, "Is he in the Inventors Hall of Fame?" I said, "I don't know what's that." He said, "It's in Akron, Ohio, and I'm on the board. I'm on the committee." I said, "I don't know." So I called Les, and I said, "Les, are you in the Inventors Hall of Fame? He said, I don't know what the hell I'm in. He says, I'm in everything. I'm 92 years old. Leave me alone.
That's great.
And, he took my space in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were playing my shows there because I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And incidentally, that's the one thing that Imus should be in. He didn't play enough records. And neither did Howard. Howard never played any records. They played him in the early days.
Yeah.
But I got in there just at the
right time.
At the right time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, doesn't make me any better. It just makes me honored at that time.
You did it.
And I've lived off of it.
Well, Brian is on vacation from the tour
Smart
for a
move.
brief time.
Wait, let me finish my story. I got to tie this in here. So Les Paul was put in the Inventors Hall of Fame because of Steve Wozniak.
Wow.
Now. So I yesterday called Steve Wozniak, and I wondered, are you in the Telephone Hall of Fame?
Is there one?
And no, there isn't one.
He's going to start
So
one.
we got Brian Ray on the phone. Brian, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, Brian.
I'm right here. How are you, Joey?
Are you in Hawaii?
I am. I'm in Maui, Hawaii right now, in Wailea.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Wow.
Aloha hoi.
I've done the show from there a couple of times, a week at a time, with Dale Parsons, who was my former boss at NBC.
Yeah,
I want to
good
give
guy.
him a plug. He listens all the time.
Hi, Dale.
And, if you go to the Marriott Hotel, there's a restaurant there that's owned by George Clooney, is one of the owners. And what's his name, who plays golf, and the golfer and the goofball, Alice Cooper.
Okay.
Well, I got so many things in my little head here. So you'll see pictures up if you go over to the Marriott and see us over there. I love Maui. I have the Maui Wowie disease, and my daughter grows marijuana too. But let's not talk about it.
No.
So now let's back to you. Okay, now we can do you. Have you ever been in the Inventors Hall of Fame, for one thing?
I have not, but I was hearing you guys chatting about it as I was waiting for you to have me join you online on the phone here. And, man, that sounds interesting. And it's interesting that Les Paul hadn't been a member and didn't even know of it. But I guess he's in it now, right?
Oh, yeah. And what about you? Are you going to be nominated for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something? I mean, you're just great. You've had a 15-year job. You should get something for that.
To be honest, it's just great to be called an employed musician, and to the degree that I am, successful one. So, I mean, God, that's enough for me to have someone like Paul McCartney continuing to call me back to say, come out on tour and drop down to the studio and add some guitar or bass or some vocals or whatever. I mean, that's enough, right? That's my little rock hall of fame right there.
Well, I've been very close to Paul. I went to see Love in Las Vegas.
That's as close as you're going to get.
Have you seen the show? Did you see the Cirque du Soleil of Love?
I've
the
seen
Beatles?
many times. Yeah, I got
too.
to see one of the earliest performances with Paul. In fact, we got to visit the theater as they were still doing the build out, the installation of it.
Yeah.
And you might know that it used to be where Siegfried and Roy did their Tiger show there before one of the two of them, I forget which, got swatted
One that
across
doesn't have an arm.
Yeah.
Which one was it, Tova?
I think it was Roy got bitten. It's like his head got bitten. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was hideous.
Oh, it wasn't good. Yeah,
it was
wasn't
not good.
Well, we found out that the animal was gay, and then that did all of that.
Anyway, that was the end of Siegfried and Roy.
That's
awful
why.
It was.
incident.
Jealousy.
You're not going to get your face bitten off at Love. You will, however, have an amazing time because they've done such a fantastic job. George Martin, the late George Martin, the late great George Martin, known as the fifth Beatle, who produced all the Beatles records, as you know, along with George Martin's son Giles, did all the music for it. And as you've heard, the mashups that they do, I don't know how they did it. They must have done a tempo and song key grid to figure out which songs would match up and mash up well. But it's something else, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like
That's
a
incredible.
Beatles matrix. It's really something.
So what's the new tour like? What's the new Paul McCartney tour? It's one-on-one. What does that mean? He's with himself?
One-on-one. Yeah, that's right. Just he and one person. It's a very expensive ticket, but it's just him. No, it's a continuation of our tour from last year called One-on-One, and there's been some tweaks to the sound, tweaks to the video content and lights and effects, and tweaks to the show. They've brought in about 4 new songs to the show. It's a continuation of the one-on-one tour, which we took around America and Europe last year.
And they just opened up a lot more tickets for more shows. That's the demand for a Paul McCartney
that thing
show.
sold out every place.
Amazing.
And right here in Madison Square Garden, I already have my seat.
I have a little story.
Oh, good.
I grew up in Scarsdale, New York, and I went to school with Louise Eastman. She had an older sister named Linda Eastman. And Linda Eastman was and so Wheezy was my friend, and actually her father, Lee Eastman, whose birth name is Lee Edelman, went to Harvard with my father, Sidney Feldshuh. And then they both ended up in Scarsdale, and Edelman became Eastman, and Linda Eastman was the older sister, and she would marry Paul.
Wow.
And it was...
Isn't that something? Yeah. And Wheezy is such a sweetheart, right?
She's the best.
Anyway, the audience is going like, who are these people?
She lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She's quite intellectual. She's just brilliant. And her father was a brilliant collector. He had Picassos. He had his state-of-the-art painters in the house. I remember they lived on Dolma Road.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to mention that Oliver Lieber, who's a drummer in the Paul McCartney show, is the son of Lieber and Stoller.
Well, Jerry Lieber, they didn't have a child together, but Jerry Lieber.
Well, let's not go there. I already ruined it with the tiger.
That's so odd. I did not know. Yeah, Oliver Lieber, my partner in the Bayonets, who formed the band with me and co-produced, co-wrote all the material, played drums, and we've had a blast together on this album that's now finding its way into a re-release.
What's it called? What's the album called?
The album's called Crash Boom Bang, and it's a record that we did and released on our own, self-released, just over a year ago, and we were reached by a guy named Marty Scott out of the East Coast in Jersey, I believe, with his label called Gem Records.
Good.
And that's a revived imprint, and they've done very well with a bunch of acts.
When you come here, we're going to put you on our performing stage.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen this yet, but when you go to, you can stream the show right now. I don't know if you know that or not. You go to SundayNightLive.com. Don't go to ABC or WABC or Google or Giggle. Just go to SundayNightLive.com, and you'll see.
You can watch us.
Yeah, and you'll see my pink tie too. But you know, but you know what? You're a really good guy, and everybody. We're so happy to have you on the air because everybody likes you, and we all try to accommodate people we like. We want to put people on the air who are brilliant, not necessarily the most famous, not necessarily, but should be, and also honor those who are great, like Tova, who's a legend.
Absolutely.
And you know, we got great people all the time around us because I'm tired of all the crap.
And you're entitled to be tired of it.
So thank you for being with us, and please come and visit us, and we'll give you more time when you come on. Our second hour is a little looser; we can talk more. And I do a lot of talking, so I apologize for that, but I got a big mouth, you know.
And we'll send him a lei. Because he's at Hawaii.
That sounds great. I'd love to come and visit you guys. I'll probably have a couple of days off when I'm on the East Coast. We'll be camped out there for a couple of weeks. So
bring Paul.
Why don't we set something up?
We'll take you to Little Italy, and I'll take you to a place called Oliva, which is owned by Tony Danza, and his partner is Karen King, who's also an artist. We're all friends. We're all friends.
Yeah.
And they have the best cannolis you ever had. We have some here tonight.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
But you come here, and we'll take care of you.
Yeah,
all right?
we will.
You won't have to pay. You'll live like a rock star.
Please.
That sounds amazing. I should try that for a living.
Come off the island, we'll take care of you. You know what I mean? We got people, we know things, you know, nothing like on the island. No mukuko kawa pawa. You know, we give you nice Italian food, we sit you down, we have you a good time, okay? You come. Gotcha?
All
right, Brian Ray Mahala.
Mahala.
There you go.
Mahala,
Thank you very much for having me on the air.
Great to meet you, Brian.
And Tova's still with us, and Michael Levine just slipped in the room.
Yeah, he did.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm well.
Hello, Michael.
I'm live from Hollywood.
I
I just got in town about 3 hours ago.
We had a little bit of a crunch in L.A. when we did the show on January 1st from Los Angeles from KABC. And we squeezed as many people as we could in a booth.
We had 48 people in that studio that night.
I recall.
Michael, I said, we have Michael Levine here. He said, hi. Bye, Mike. It's been nice having you.
It's all good. It was an honor to be with you. Now, I'm doing something very fun, which I haven't told you, Joey.
Okay.
Tuesday night, a comedy club in New York City. I'm told it's a great comedy club, Gotham Comedy Club.
It is great.
Yep.
It is
5:30 to 7:30. I'm giving a speech for aspiring comedians on how to become a star in Hollywood.
Whoa.
I used to represent George Carlin. I used to represent Sam Kinison. I used to represent who else?
Oh, you've had everybody. Come on. You've had
a lot of comedians. So I'm giving this speech, and Chris Mazzulli invited me, and I'm very honored. So I thought I'd mention it to you because I know you have millions of listeners that might be inclined to want to come to the Gotham Comedy Club on Tuesday.
What time?
5:30 to 7:30.
May 9th, that Tuesday?
Yeah.
48 hours.
So that'll be fun. But anyway, it's a great, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, both personally and professionally, because you walk your talk. You're a good guy. And
thank you.
Yeah. So it's cool to be in New York City. I don't understand this weather, though. Can you? I thought sure mid-May, but no.
Yeah, no.
I didn't.
I got a nice picture of Central Park from last July.
Yeah.
I'd like to show it to you. No, it's great. I mean, we're all experiencing a change in everything. The whole world is upside down right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all have gone through more changes than a drag queen. This is unbelievable. And whether we have a love or a hate for the president or the current president, I'll tell you one thing about this guy, though. I could say this. We don't do a political show.
No, we don't.
I'll say this about him. I knew him as a show business guy.
Yeah.
And you managed a lot of people in showbiz. I was friends with, you probably remember a guy, well, a couple of people have passed away. And they were really good fans of his as a friend. He was a good friend of Michael King of King World.
Yep.
You know, I mean, and Trump is friends with Murdoch. He's made a lot of friends in showbiz.
Yeah.
And he supported a lot of people. So I don't know how what the president's job is supposed to be anymore. I'm confused.
Right. I will say this. I just got back last week from Washington, D.C., and I was at the Library of Congress, and I observed something that I thought was interesting. I was there for 2 days, and I saw a lot of people who work in Washington, and I talked to them. And what I observed is that in Washington, D.C., among the professionals, the people who work in the government, come whichever president, they don't seem as hysterical as the people in New York or in Los Angeles. Yeah. They're not on Prozac. They're not in therapy. They're not wearing pussy hats, running around screaming. They take the position, look, the guy won fair and square. Maybe he wasn't our choice, but he won fair and square. We got to give him a chance. If he doesn't do a good job, we'll kick his ass out in 4 years. But they don't seem this New York and LA hysteria, like, oh, I'm in therapy, I can't believe it.
That's because nobody's going to pay for it.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, we have a president that lives in 4 places. You know, this is
Florida.
why we have Camp David, that Jewish camp.
Right.
You know, I mean, the reason we had that was so they could. It's a place where the army protects it. You don't have to pay to move them around. Go out on the Sequoia, bring that boat back. Get out of here. You know, never mind all these homes. You know, I feel like we should have made. Who was the guy that did the Rich and Famous? What was his name?
Oh, Robin Leach.
He should be president.
Yeah,
he's got all the houses. No, we really are in a split nation right now.
Oh,
and this is what I don't like.
Joey?
I'll tell you something about black people right now. I want to say black people. I want to give it a name. There's a show that's being done now by Charles Barkley, wonderful NBA player and a champion Hall of Famer and a great guy. He's doing a show about race. And I said to my friends the other day, when you do a show about race, you're separating. That's not what Dr. King had in mind. He had in mind for everybody to come together, not to start separating us more. And I don't like the separation.
Yeah.
I mean, I want us to be a little bit more. You know what's good? Let me bring it. Now I said that. Let me bring
You
up
should speak to the president if you don't like separation.
This is true. Now here's the. Wait. Now, let me bring this up then. I was in Harlem. I used to live in Harlem, and I was there yesterday. And they have a place now. It's a brand new building, and it's on. I think it's on. Oh, it's got to be accurate. 116th Street, and there's a a building to train people who can't afford school to go to college and learn how to get into college. I mean, these are things we have to do. We have to help each other to educate.
Head Start? Is it called Head Start? Yeah.
And I
Excellent.
love it. I mean, those are the things that we need to really be talking about. Not what doesn't work. I know a lot of things that don't work. I was one of them. I didn't work for 3 years.
I like people, different nationalities, getting along, you know?
Yeah.
Except when I see that they're not getting along. Like the other day when I was coming out of a vegetable store, you know, and I'm watching 2 Korean guys arguing with each other. They're like, how should the vegetables should be arranged? They're like, I'm like, oh, guys, take it easy. Calm down. This is America, okay? Speak Spanish. And the little guy sweeping away. That's right, Papa. You're going to say one day we're going to rise. You're going to say, Papi.
I love the 7-Eleven stores. They're all Indians, you know. The Indian people have taken that, and also Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
Yeah, well, you know that dot on their forehead? I thought it was a digital performance.
Digital performance.
No, it's very, very common now for Dunkin' Donuts to, wait a minute, this is the news.
Okay.
They are now giving away TV antennas.
Oh, is that right?
So that people can pick up television over the air. They don't have to pay for cable.
Well, yeah.
So they're doing that's a new promotion.
New thing. Yeah.
I don't know. We could talk about all these things all day long, and then we're going to sound like everybody else.
And Michael Levine's going to introduce an act to us in just a couple of minutes. We got to take a break.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And the Late Joey Reynolds Show.
Have I bitched enough yet?
Yes, you have. The Late Joey Reynolds Show, brought to you by V8PE.com, where you'll find the best vaporizers, sweetest juices, and more. Join the Cloud Chasers at V8PE.com.
This is Sunday Night Live with the Late Joey Reynolds Show.
Tied In Media, leaders in website design, digital and social media marketing, takes your online business to unsurpassed levels. As PinkTie.org's media marketing partner of choice, Tied In Media is taking PinkTie.org, Long Island's fastest growing charitable networking organization, higher with socially conscious event campaigns as they partner for the 5th annual PinkTie.org event May 22nd. Savvy, in online, effective yet affordable solutions. Tied In Media takes the most successful brands, e-tailers, and millennialpreneurs to the next level. Visit TiedInMedia.com, TIED in media.com, and visit pinktide.org for event details.
Give the gift that gives back all year long. Let Plainview Chocolate Works create a delicious, unique, and irresistible custom-branded gift made of the finest quality Belgian chocolate. Plainview Chocolate Works takes your personalized gift to a sweet new dimension. Imagine your logo, business card, or sentiments as a custom edible creation, making a lasting impression on clients, family, and friends. Specializing in one-of-a-kind 3D chocolate sculptures, customized gift baskets for any profession or occasion, dipped to perfection platters, handmade truffles, and more. Let Plainview Chocolate Works showcase your brand or marketing message in the most creative way as you offer appreciation to clients and wow potential customers. Love chocolate charity and giving back to the Long Island community? 5% of your Plainview Chocolate Works gift purchases are donated back to pinktie.org, whose efforts support charitable organizations in our local community. Call 516-252-3855 today and visit pinktie.org to learn more about how your gift purchases are making a difference.
Best ticket in town. Join PinkTie.org in the fight against cancer at the 5th annual PinkTie.org event, Monday, May 22nd at Crest Hollow Country Club, Woodbury, Long Island. For $150, the proceeds benefit the Don Monte Memorial Research Foundation. Join over 3,000 go-givers at the epic charitable event of the year, featuring a live performance by Scott Stapp, the voice of the band Creed, and an evening of networking. Your ticket will include delicious food, open bar, spectacular experiences, beer garden, wine tasting, and more. Visit pinktie.org. That's PINKTIE.org.
You can listen on air or online. Plus, watch the Late Joey Reynolds Show right now with streaming video at SundayNightLive.com.
Mama, please forgive me for the many times I let you down.
That's great.
Mama, please forgive me. I wish that I knew then what I know now.
It's a mama song.
I want to go home. I want to go home.
No, this is great. You know, the last time I remember the mama song was Connie Francis.
She did a different,
famous for that, different song. Though.
Right.
And that's Sarah Partridge singing that,
Yes, it
and
is.
Michael Levine brought her along. But Tova Feldshuh,
No. That was all not correct.
Oh, well, then tell me something that is correct.
All right. Well, I guess it's not correct. All right.
Was that supposed to be me?
Oh, you can correct someone on the air.
Well, okay. Sorry about that. I'm terribly sorry. Don't know how that happened.
Well, who made the mistake? You're fired.
Yeah.
I was wondering who that lovely voice was.
I knew it wasn't Tova, but Tova's got a Mother's Day thing coming up anyway. So that's next Sunday.
Let's hear about David Hyde Pierce and myself are emceeing the National Yiddish Theater Folksbiene Mother's Day Gala, and who is more motherly than a Jewish mother?
Oy.
And I will be singing myself. I'll be singing Gershwin in English. I'm sorry to say, but a little bit of Yiddish and Russian and some Hebrew. But it should be a splendid evening, and it supports the Judah Maccabees of Yiddish, the people who've never let Yiddish die, and now it's back in fashion. But when it wasn't, they were swimming up tide, and they never gave up. So
what's the difference between Hebrew and Yiddish?
Huge. Yiddish is derivative of 16th century German. It's German. It's German.
So what's Surus?
Surus is Yiddish, which probably comes from a German word.
It means trouble.
Yeah, like Feldshuh. You know, Feldshuh just means field boot. We didn't pay the censor enough when Napoleon came around, wanted the last name of all the Jews. So if you paid him, you were Montefiore, Mountain of Flowers, Rosenberg, Mountain of Flowers, Starke, Strong. If you didn't pay him, you were a shit kicker. I was Feldshuh. That's what Feldshuh is.
Yeah,
it's
we got Jay Sorensen over here, who's a would-be.
That's good. Sorensen means
he celebrates Munzer Day.
The son of Soren. But come to NYU, the Skirball Center, on May 14th at 6:30, and we'll sing to you.
My real name is Pinto. It was
really
Italian, and
I love the Italians.
Speaking of Pintos, I got this doctor I went to because he took a scalpel out and got rid of my corn on the spot. You talk about a guy who does house calls.
Wow.
But a guy, Michael Schwartz, is down. I want to give him a plug because he walks around with a scalpel.
Does he really?
Oh, you just gets rid of your corns right on the spot.
Just like
wow.
That. I think somewhere along the line we should have this medical plan put before the Senate.
Right. Take all the corns out.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we're so happy to have you, Tova.
It's wonderful to be here, Joey, and you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that what Billy Christie used to say? But darling, you look marvelous, darling. You look marvelous.
And you did a show with him in London, right?
I did. I did a show with him at UCLA, actually, at Royce Hall. We did a concert.
I love him. He said that Alan King was his mentor, and Alan used to tell him the best thing you could do is to iron your pants before you go on stage and don't get them wrinkled, because people look at your pants.
Oh my!
Oh my God!
What is that? A clown outfit?
No, like very preppy golfer. You look like belong to Cold Spring Harbor Country Club. It's very Oyster Bay. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
I deserve that.
You're the guy, after that mommy thing.
I know. It's all right. No, it's all right.
Michael Levine. Now, Michael, do we play the wrong song here?
Yeah, that's all right. No, we didn't play the wrong song. We identified the wrong artist. That's what we did. That was
Michael, correct this now, because you got a lovely lady on either side of you.
Yes.
Indeed, I do. Sarah Partridge is someone I've known for probably 30 years. I met her in Los Angeles. She was an actress, and she turned her career into singing. She moved from acting mostly into singing and became a very acclaimed jazz singer. And we reconnected. She lives here in New Jersey. We reconnected. And she said that she felt that it was time in her life to create a new album. She had done albums, very acclaimed jazz singer. Yeah. And so she decided to do an album, a tribute album to a great artist named Janis Ian, who I was a big fan of. Mm-hmm. Janis Ian was a huge singer-songwriter in the 70s, great talent.
At 17.
At 17.
Yeah.
Society's Child.
Mm-hmm. I've had her on the show,
You did?
Yeah, not this one, but the other show.
Great talent.
And she had a great album that I thought was a revival album for her. I mean, we weren't playing records anymore, and I said, "Oh my God,
she's a great talent." She had brilliant talent. So anyway, Sarah, who is an acclaimed jazz singer, created an album in tribute or reimagining Janis Ian through that prism, that perspective, and she's doing a show. So I asked her to come tonight. She agreed to come. She drove in from New Jersey, and I wanted to introduce you to her.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot here.
No, we didn't.
We're still on the good
It's fine
foot.
with me.
Yeah, but you are in good company. You know, you have
I am.
Marc Elliott sitting next to you, and Marc, of course, he's written so many bios.
Yep.
He's going to do yours next.
Awesome.
He just finished with Charlton Heston. His book on Charlton Heston is out now.
Same alma mater, Northwestern University.
Northwestern,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And Marc is a great writer. Now, you know, he goes back to speaking to Janice Ian, to that message, because his first book, which he wrote, was
Death of a Rebel.
And
about
you know who that was?
Phil Oakes.
Phil Oakes.
Ah.
The Cops of
Yeah.
the World.
Yeah.
And so Janice carried a lot of that message in her life.
Right.
You know, who was just inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I think it was the other day. Somebody.
Joan Baez.
Joan Baez.
Oh,
yes.
right.
Yeah, she's another one. You know, we had. I thought the Kingston Trio Scotch and Soda was a revolting song. You know.
Revolting.
Yeah. But you know, we have such great people. And great artistry. And I love having this show because we put everybody on the air who's wonderful. And I'm saying it because it's true. You know, most times you get on the show and the host doesn't really tell you how he feels, maybe, unless it's negative, perhaps. But I'm in that place where I say, you know what, I've lived this long, and I've lived the entire history of rock and roll, and I think that we have had such great performances from people who are still doing it, like all of you, everybody at this table. And Michael Levine, I don't know who you're representing this week. Yourself. You're gonna be.
There you go.
You're at Gotham Comedy Club.
Well, I'm doing that, but I'm also going Thursday night down to the bitter end. Why am I going?
Why are you going?
To the
Why?
bitter end.
I am going Thursday night to the bitter end to see Sarah Partridge
Good promoter.
debut her record.
It's called Bright Lights and Promises.
Bright Lights and Promises.
Right.
Redefining
Right.
Janice Ian.
Right.
And it was just released, and what's fun about it is that not only did I cover 10 of her songs from like 1969 to currently, but she opened her entire catalog to me, and I recorded a song that had never been recorded before, and then I flew to Nashville and we wrote 2 songs together, which was really lovely. I mean, she's a generous artist in every sense of the word.
I went to school. I know her cousin who passed away. He was my dear friend when I was young.
Well, Bobby Darin knows my friend. That's like a Blossom Dearie song.
No, I'm just saying that Janice Ian, you know, this was his cousin. So her cousin
yeah.
passed away.
Well, you know, you're going to perform here tonight.
Apparently so.
Yes,
All right, well,
Except I can't sing that Mama song.
No,
that's
you're
the
not-
only
no,
thing.
no, that's not-
all right, all right.
I'm going to lip sync it later on in the dress. Hold on for a minute, all right? I want to do something with Marc Elliott before he gets nervous.
Yes.
Marc, if he doesn't like me,
He's
he
twitching.
walks off the show.
That's right.
You know?
You do not want him to walk off.
No,
Carry
no.
on.
Marc tells the greatest stories too, and if you haven't experienced him, he's over at the 92nd Street Y as a rule. I've seen him.
That's right. You saw me that time for Steve McQueen.
Yeah, and the insights to Steve McQueen, which probably even Michael Levine doesn't know some of the stuff that you were talking about, because you were talking about what drove him.
Yeah.
And now you got the Charlton Heston.
And Michael was Charlton Heston's PR person.
I was.
Oh, well, here we go.
Wow. That's true.
And Ronald Reagan.
And Ronald Reagan.
I did some of that. I wasn't Ronald Reagan's publicist. I offered him some unasked for advice. But Marc contacted me, actually, through Fraser Heston, when he started to write this book. And I thought, gee, this is fantastic. I spent 3 years of my life, Marc knows this story, 3 years of my life trying to get Charlton Heston a U.S. postage stamp, because I felt that I was concerned that his legacy wouldn't be as properly attended to. We did get the postage stamp, and then, boy, I really breathed a sigh of relief when I found out Marc was writing this book, because Marc's a great writer, a classy writer. He wrote this enormous book about Charlton Heston.
And Aaron Brockovich, too, while he was at it.
Aaron was just in town. I just saw her, and I tried to get a stamp too, but I got a whole book of them last week. I went over to the post office. So not that hard, Michael.
There you go.
What was I before? I told my own joke. I was
Don't have Jay do it; it'll screw it up.
I was thrown by the lack of response to it. This book took about 3 years, Charlton Heston, and I really liked the way it came out. The family was amazing. Fraser Heston, the son, Holly, who's going to be with me tomorrow at the 92nd Street Y at noon.
That's his daughter.
That's his daughter.
Right, yeah.
She lives in New York, and between the two of them, we've covered the whole country. And I'm going back to Las Vegas for Freedom Fest in July, and Fraser will be there. So we're going to wind up this tour that's been about 7 months. I think I started it back in your show, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the book. It's doing beautifully. A lot of foreign sales are happening now, and it's a great story. I mean, when you write biography, you hope and pray that the story is going to be as great as the image, as the myth. And with Heston, it was. It's an amazing story.
Did you know him, Tova? Did you know Charles Heston?
I didn't know him. I mean, I never worked with him. I knew him because I lived in Hollywood briefly. But your books are extraordinary. It's
Thank you.
wonderful.
I thought you were a lawyer because I saw Law and Order last night about 4 in the morning, and you were defending somebody.
Danielle Melnick. I've been promoted to Judge Danielle Melnick on Chicago Justice.
On,
Dick
on
Wolf.
18 different shows at once.
I say, and when I got this call to do this Chicago Justice for Dick Wolf, and they call it the Wolf Universe. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. So I'm playing a judge, and I was so interesting on the opening 3-hour special that I fell asleep watching myself.
You know the Linda what's it, the Lorman Awards? You won that award. There's a
I don't know what but on Thursday I'm being inducted into the Jewish Hall of Fame,
Wow.
which is hilarious.
Wow. I'm being kicked out of the Jewish Hall of Fame on
Immediately.
Thursday.
Immediately.
Oh, is that the Friars?
Yes. I'm not being kicked out, but it is the Jewish Hall of Fame.
I worked for Laura Moore, though. That's back in the day. Listen.
Well, you're great. You're great. So we've had a great night tonight with
So far.
Fantastic.
conversation.
Thank you, Joey.
So far.
Now in the next hour,
Yeah.
we're going to have some entertainment. You know,
Right.
I mean, I'm
understand.
leaving.
But everybody can now go to SundayNightLive.com and watch the show. And that's what's beautiful about this show.
Yeah, and
We
you're
now
going to
have
see
an
some
extra hour.
performances too.
We have a lot of performances by
Stone and
Sarah.
Sarah will be here.
Yes.
And Sarah's going to sing Sarah.
That's right, Phoebe Legere.
And
we
Michael
have-
Levine is going to give his little comedy special.
Yep, Todd and Adam, as you mentioned, and America's Sweethearts are going to play too. So
they're
we have a
from-
lot of stuff
from
coming
Ellen's
up.
Diner.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
right, indeed. So
No,
SundayNightLive.com.
Don't forget Phoebe.
Yes, Phoebe. I did.
Phoebe's going to play her accordion.
Yes, she
which
is. And
my
we're
favorite
looking
instrument.
forward to that, very much so.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
All
Don't
right.
be Italian. You're stuck with that accordion. So, Tova,
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you
See
too
you.
till the next
Michael?
time.
Sarah?
Peace.
Pleasure.
Peace.
And also Marc.
Marc, thank you
Marc
very
Elliott,
much.
M-A-R-C, if you're going to look for the
Yes.
book for Charles
Alright.
Heston.
Tomorrow at noon, Upper East Side.
92nd Street Y.
That's
There you
the
go.
place, baby.
That
Which
is
is
the
the
place.
way-
My
That's-
kids went to
The YMCA is a Young Men's Christian Association.
You're right.
This is
The
not
best nursery school in town.
The late Joey Reynolds Show is brought to you by Leap EDU, where real estate professionals and those who wish to be go for training and continuing education. Be a part of the high-dollar real estate world. Info at leapedu.com. Hang around, folks.
This is Sunday Night Live with the late Joey Reynolds Show.
PinkTie.org invites you to be a part of a night of rock and roll for a cause. Join Grammy Award-winning lead singer of Creed, Scott Stapp, as he headlines the 5th annual PinkTie.org Business Professionals Networking for a Cause event. You can be a part of one of the fastest-growing charitable networking organizations in the area. PinkTie.org brings together a network of like-minded business professionals who want to do well by doing good, positively impacting our community. On May 22nd at the Crest Hollow Country Club in Woodbury, New York, join over 2,500 business leaders and music lovers as the voice of Creed, Scott Stapp, makes his return to New York. This exciting event benefits the Don Monte Memorial Research Foundation, leaders in the fight against cancer. Be a part of the memorable night as PinkTie.org plans to raise over $500,000 in one night. Don't miss Scott Stapp, the voice of Creed, on May 22nd. For information about tickets and more, visit pinktie.org. That's PINKTIE.org.
Hi, Cecil Fielder here, former New York Yankee World Series champ and spokesman for PinkTie.org. Although I've retired from the game, I still like hitting home runs, and now I'm swinging for the fences to defeat cancer. Join me and other New York sports greats at the 5th annual PinkTie.org event on May 22nd, benefiting the Don Monte Memorial Research Foundation. Visit pinktie.org and help knock cancer out of the park. That's pinktide.org. See you there.
Chocolate, charity, and community. What could be sweeter? Plainview Chocolate Works is proud to support pinktide.org. Take a dip in a spectacular pink chocolate fountain at the 5th annual pinktide.org event on May 22nd. And join our jolly Oompa Loompas as together we network for a cause. Stay tuned. Coming soon. Plainview Chocolate Works retail location. Give the gift that gives back with 5% of your Plainview Chocolate Works gift purchases donated to pinktide.org. To learn how your gift purchases are making our community a sweeter place to live, visit pinktide.org/chocolateworks.
From the NJDiet.com studios, WPLJ HD3 New York, 77 WABC, New York, a Cumulus station news now.
New president for France, another American detained. I'm Ann Cates. Emmanuel Macron, with no political experience, has been elected president of France. Correspondent Jim Bitterman reports Macron will have no time for a victory lap.
Sweethearts, need to be on stage. Okay.
We want to take a picture with you.
Good. Come on.
Okay, wait for them to be on stage and then we go back home.
If you want to hang out, you can. Great.
I love your pants. Okay. And Joey, if you want to take your mic cordless and
Yeah, take that with you. You can open it from there if you want on stage.
Yeah, I will.
He's going to open it from on stage.
Jay, smile.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, yeah.
So, why is the news playing now?
You're still hearing it?
Yeah.
Still hearing it. He'll take that.
I'm on his mix. Oh, wait. Hold on.
There we go. Good?
Do you like our little show?
All right, when do we start the next?
You better see.
When they're ready. We're good. Everybody's clear.
Okay.
Ready? Joey, you ready?
Let's go. Start the intro.
Go ahead. She's good.
Hour 2 of the Late Joey Reynolds Show. Sunday Night Live from the future of radio and TV Space Center. Still locked in Stage 17, high above New York City. But without the restraints. Video stream at SundayNightLive.com. Once again, here's Joey.
Are we on the air? We are?
You are.
We got a new president in France. Well, we're live on the radio, on the television, and the internet. Do you know that, right?
All three, my goodness.
Now, these are the Dream Girls. What are they called?
America's Sweetheart.
America's Sweetheart.
Yeah, Les Paul used to be at the Iridium. You know where the Iridium is. It's in the basement of Ellen's Diner.
I do, yes.
And Les used to screw up everything. You know that. That's why I just did that. He always got everything wrong. And so Jay reminded me of it today because he played the wrong cut for an artist that doesn't exist. We got a woman singing Mama, and we don't know who she is.
No, we do. She's going to be on in a few minutes.
Oh, she's actually here?
She's here.
Oh, my God. We played the wrong artist at the wrong time?
It's all right.
It's the wrong time.
I think you're just trying to make us look good already.
Yeah. Now, what's your name?
I'm Carly.
Hi, Carly. How are you? Glad to meet me.
Nice to meet you.
I know.
And this is Katie and Bex and
Hi.
Kristen.
Hi.
Hi. And you're the Dream Girls?
So close.
We're your dream girls.
In my dreams.
We're America's
So-
sweethearts.
I know what you are. Now you're going to perform live in this performing stage. This is WABC New York. All right. Now they have a performing stage. They built this room for radio, and we committed a crime. We put television cameras in here. So ABC has television already, and they have radio, right? So what they did was they built a television studio and a radio station and reinvented television. Do they know what the hell they're doing here?
Sounds plausible.
But we got the show on the road, and it's been doing real well. And you girls are performing where? Carly? Where do we see these girls?
Kind of everywhere. Yesterday they were on board a Living History cruise, the John Brown. So they were doing lots of 1940s stuff there. And then in about a week we're going to Virginia Beach and we're singing at their World War II show. We're singing at a museum. We sing at lots of veterans events. We try and give back to our veterans. It's really important to us.
Wedding. We just did a wedding.
So you do like the Andrews Sisters, those kinds of songs?
We
Oh,
do.
that was a great era. You know, they had what they call the canteen in Hollywood. And the Hollywood Canteen. And that's where the servicemen would go, the USO, and they would have these performers, and they would donate their time. Even, you know, comics like Bob Hope, of course, you know, everybody knows him. But there were many, many performers, good singers and good artists. Rosemary Clooney, George Clooney's aunt. You know, I mean, we have to explain to the millennials that there is a chain. Somebody did come from someone else, you know. And we have this time in history when this music is sacred. This has become almost a religion because the crowd is growing smaller, but there's also a niche. It's a boutique kind of presentation now, and people who have never experienced it say, wow. It's akin to my generation, the 60s. We had the Impressions, who were doing a cappella in the early days, and then they added music. Or Marc Elliott, who's with us tonight. Marc wrote books on rock and roll history. He wrote one famous one that I could think of, and he speaks of the doo-wop music. So before there was doo-wop, there was this World War II stuff, which you're doing. It's harmony, but it had a big band. Do we have that tonight?
Not tonight.
Or are we doing
We're doing some acapella tonight.
Oh, nuts.
We do love
All right,
Next
let me
time.
get out of the way, and I will sit down and enjoy the show, okay? And you take it over. Go ahead, please.
I wrote my mother. I wrote my father. And now I'm writing you too. I'm sure of mother. I'm sure of father. And now I wanna be sure, very, very sure of you. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. I just got word from a guy who heard from the guy next door to me. The girl he met just loves to pet, and it fits you to a T. So don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Don't sit under the apple tree
with anyone else but me.
With anyone else but her.
No, 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 not a single soul but me. No, 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 don't you sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Not till you see me. Not until you see me marching home.
Home, 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 sweet home. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane
with anyone else but me.
With anyone else but her.
No, 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 not a single soul but me. No, 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 don't you go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Not till you see me. Not until you see me marching home.
Home, 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 sweet home. Just wait till I come marching home. So don't go walking down the Lover's Lane. No, walking down the Lover's Lane till you see me. When you see me marching home, then we'll go arm in arm and we'll sit down under the apple tree. Baby, just you and me. when I come marching home.
Wow.
America's sweethearts.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, you play that on CBS FM?
No, no, I never did. I never played that. No, I never did. I don't work there anymore, Joe.
No, I know that. You don't work anywhere.
No.
You haven't worked here tonight.
Maybe after tonight.
No, you do a great job. I love you. You know, you're like a brother to me.
Nah.
And, you know, I have a dysfunctional family, so it's okay. Who else we got here?
We have so many people tonight. It's a wonderful thing. First of all, Marc Elliott is still hanging around because he wants to just, learn.
I want to mention that book about rock. What is it?
Rockonomics.
Right, that's the
Rockonomics,
one
yeah.
he wanted to mention.
And what was I trying to say there for a while? You know, you took the history of...
It was the money behind the music.
All right.
And it was, so I put the term, I took it from Reaganomics and made it Rockonomics. Because the idea was that if you want to get beyond the myth and the PR, you follow the money, the history of the money of rock and roll. And that really was what that book was.
And
Nothing's changed.
Joey and
nothing
I
has changed.
were in a documentary called The Wages of Spin.
Spin. Good title.
Spin, yes. And they interviewed us for the film, and we learned a lot about
Well, why did
the
they
music
put me in
industry.
it?
Well, because you were a famous person.
And I never
that
took
you
payola.
and the fact that he didn't take payola was pretty remarkable, actually, because a lot of people were on the take back
And
then,
that's what my father called me, a schmuck.
Yeah, you were a real idiot. What was wrong with you?
I don't know. It's crazy.
You know, I did I did a couple of rock books. I did James Brown's life.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing he did.
Wait, Mark, you got to tell
gonna
Mr.
tell
Brown.
that story.
All right,
I'm gonna
because
tell-
my friend Jim Boulderbook worked with him. You know, you talked to him, and you still owe him the James Brown book too, incidentally.
I'll be happy to send it to
Please.
him as soon as I can find a copy.
Oh, here we go.
Most of them are up at the other
All right,
house.
now you used to go to James Brown's house.
That's right.
And there was and he had a guardian.
He had Mr. Bobbitt.
Yeah.
Who was his manager. He was the gardener, the driver, everything.
It's in the movie about him. About
That's
James
right.
Brown. Yeah.
That's right. So I would go down there, and first night I went in, sat on the sofa. The sofa looked like a Chevy Impala. It was this red naugahyde, and it was a kind of in a circle.
Yeah.
So you never really faced anybody. You kind of faced the outer way. I was waiting, and I said, "Mr. Bobbitt, is Mr. Brown? You just wait. He'll be right out." And then the lights dimmed, and the spotlight came on, and he came out, in all his splendor. And you got that? Yes, it's very clear. And now tell me about. Okay, I got it. This is the real thing, right? So I was there about 4 hours, and Mr. Brown's hairdresser showed up, and it was time for me to leave. And Mr. Bobbitt said, "I'll drive you back to your hotel." This was down in Augusta, I guess. So I went down. He got in the car. I said, "Now, what time are we going to start tomorrow?" And Mr. Brown thinks you'll have everything you need after today to write his entire life. I said, "Well, I really don't have all the material." "Whatever you want to say is fine. Mr. Brown will be happy. Just make sure you say, I don't know, say it. You understand?" I got it, Mr. Brown.
Oh, had to call him Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown.
And he called everybody else Mr.
Yeah,
That's right.
he
and,
did.
And except me, he called "Hey you," but he called everybody. It was very formal. I was on your show once back in OR with my girlfriend Chalet, who didn't speak English that well, and you said to Chalet, I'm sure you remember this. You said, "Yeah, your boyfriend killed James Brown." "Oh," she said. And then after, when we got home, she said, "You killed James Bond?"
James Bond.
So, it's going to be a long explanation. I didn't kill either one of them.
She was Chinese, right?
She was Chinese.
Yeah.
Still is Chinese.
She didn't understand anything.
I had to wait.
There's a new Chinese restaurant in Little Italy. It's called Fungu. Hey, watch it.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that one. I had to wait 3 hours to get James Brown's autograph for a record after a show in Atlantic City because of his hairdresser. He would not go out in public ever without having his hair totally coiffed
Well,
and 3 hours.
This girl who did his hair didn't look to me like she was an expert in hair. You know, when I was writing the book, the publisher said, we need one Elvis story. And he was playing over at the ballroom on 51st, no longer there.
Roosevelt?
Roosevelt.
Yeah, Roseland.
And they said, well, don't go into his trailer. Whatever you do before the show. So I said, well, it's the only time I can do it. So I knocked on the door, and Mr. Bob had opened the door. So who are you again? I'm writing James Brown's life. Now you got me doing it.
This is before you killed him.
That's right, just before I killed him. So I went in, and his hair, he had 75,000 curlers on. He was picking up Radio Australia on his hair. I said, I need a story about Elvis Presley. Great! I want you. Okay, that's all I need. Now I can finish the book now. I had no idea.
That's great. So we got America's Sweetheart.
Yeah, we had, they were great.
I thought America's Sweetheart was Marc Elliott.
Well, he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. But we have a very funny guy.
No, he's not funny. He lived at IKEA.
Well, yeah, that's pretty funny.
Oh, come on. A guy that lived in IKEA for a year to do a show from there?
And he flew around everywhere on Air Trans and filmed it. And he does a podcast, Johnny Carson podcast, and all kinds of stuff.
Who's that?
Well, he's sitting right here. It's Marc Malkoff. Hello, Marc.
Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Hi, Marc. How are you? So is that true? You lived at an IKEA for a year?
It was for a week. I don't think I'd be married still if it was for a year. I don't think the wife would have put up with that. But she did stay for one night in IKEA in Paramus with me.
What did you do while you were there?
I rollerbladed with security guards at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I ate tofu meatballs. I made videos. It was called Marc Lives in IKEA. And I did a video series. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Did they know you were doing this in
They
Sweden?
did. They did, and it was a media frenzy. I mean, it was worldwide.
Yeah.
There were people that were driving 5 hours to meet the guy that was living in the store, and I would wake up from a nap in the middle of the store, and there'd be 30 people staring at me like I was an animal in a zoo.
Oh, yeah. I did a wake-a-thon, not there. But, you know, that's the same thing, except if you're awake for 3 days, by the third day, you really start to make little comments about the crowd out front.
I get it.
And they're not very pleasant sometimes.
No.
When you're in a cage.
Yeah. The IKEA was more pleasant. It was nicer than my New York City apartment, so I can't complain.
Do you still do the show, the podcast?
I do, yeah. The Carson podcast is every Thursday. I've talked to over 100 people that went on the show, like Mel Brooks, who was on Johnny's very first show, October 1st, 1962, on the 6th floor of NBC in 6B. And then I talked to people that wrote for the show, that produced the show, like Peter LaSalle. And, we've done over 100 of them.
Well, you know that Tony Danza is doing a behind-the-scenes of Johnny Carson.
Fred DeCordova, he's playing Freddie.
Yeah. So they've got a brand new concept. I mean, it's what it was like behind the scenes.
It's exactly right. It's going to be on CISO, and it's called, I believe, There's Johnny, and it's Paul Reiser and one other gentleman are doing it's a dramedy, and it's a talent coordinator that moves to Burbank, I believe, in the 70s. And it's very fish out of water, a kid that's never been to L.A., that's a talent coordinator on The Tonight Show. And the Carson estate has given clips, so they're going to intercut actual footage of The Tonight Show with that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know, you have a good reputation for podcasting. Why don't you get on commercial radio and television like the rest of us have to do?
Can you get me a break? Can you?
Yeah, of course. Well, you got one now.
Joey.
I love the one. He went to stars' houses. And asked to sleep over.
That's true. Celebrity sleepovers. I asked famous people. I didn't want to spend thousands on hotels in L.A., and I said, can I sleep over at your place? And who knew that Ed Begley Jr. would have me on his futon?
Yeah. But you slept in the back of whose car?
Dave Coulier from Full House. I did sleep in his SUV. It was slightly comfortable. And then who else? Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids. I stayed at his place. Justine Bateman from Family Ties. Phil Rosenthal, who created Everybody Loves Raymond.
Sleep with any girls?
I had a celebrity nap with Kate Walsh from Private Practice, and we were in her bed, but there was a cameraman, and my wife was on speakerphone.
That's all the sex films have a cameraman.
That's
nothing wrong with that.
We had matching
or
pajamas.
Someone bringing a pizza.
Right. But there was one guy that did not let you sleep.
Rob Corddry. Rob Corddry would not let me over there. He was very The video, it was a bit that he did, but he said, "There's no way, Mark Malkoff, you're staying at my place." So
Well,
he
you
slammed the
know,
door at my place.
Mark
my
Elliott
face.
wrote the life story of Cary Grant, and I had a sleepover.
That's right.
It's in the book.
Wow.
That's right.
Who did I sleep over with?
That's his wife, right?
Diane Cannon.
Yeah, Diane Cannon.
Not bad. I emailed back and forth with her because she went on Johnny's show a lot, and I think they dated.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make that happen.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
They lived next door to each other in Malibu.
Good to know.
Yeah. The house that Cary Grant wanted to buy so he could be closer to Jennifer,
That's
the baby,
right.
but
And even closer to Randolph.
never happened.
Good to know.
Not for sure.
But, you know, we have a different kind of a show here, as you've probably
Mm-hmm.
seen. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a little different than what you do, right?
A lot, yeah, it's a little bit different. And in L.A., normally I go to people's homes or offices and just sit down, and it can be anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours and just chat.
Is it live Facebook? Is that what you
It's
do?
not. I wish I was that innovative like Joey Reynolds, but no.
No, I'm not doing that.
He edits it very
Yes,
well.
yes, it's edited down.
Well, that's wonderful. So you must have a lot of fame and fortune. Where's the fortune?
I'm working on it, Joey.
Money. You got to get paid for this.
Really? Oh, man. Mark, money? Really?
You know something? It helps.
Okay.
It helps a great deal.
Yes.
Can I
You
ask?
should've hooked
Can
up
I
with
ask
Michael
him?
Levine.
Can I ask him a question? Do you mean to tell me that strangers let you sleep over in their house?
I think it helped when they Googled me. They saw I was an Anderson Cooper in the Today Show. I think that helped.
Even
but yes.
even if you were
Yeah,
Anderson
they did.
Cooper,
Yeah, they wouldn't let us sleep over.
Politely persistent. That's my entire life. I mean, you mentioned the airplane thing. I set a Guinness World Record for the most airplane flights in a month scheduled. And they put my face on an airplane. It was crazy. And it was me trying to get over my fear of flying, a genuine thing. So I flew 135, 136 flights in a month. I couldn't get off the plane. I had to clean myself with baby wipes, no shower.
You could have done this all in one flight on United.
Joey has it. Yes. So, yeah.
You could have made some money when they threw you off.
Yeah,
Yes.
really.
I could have made a lot more money than I actually.
You can sleep at Joey's house.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Yeah, well, now
I'm
it's
moving
folded
in.
up.
Yeah.
No, you're great. You're great.
You're
I love
great,
what
Joey.
you're doing. It's
you.
wonderful that you are a free spirit, and I am too. I'm an outlaw, you know, and that's probably why you're not going to make any money.
I'm
But
trying
you
to
will,
change that.
All right,
You know,
so-
you know what's going to. Wait a minute. Let me
Go ahead.
talk for a minute here.
Yeah.
You know, this podcasting is very popular right now, and so is selfies, of course. You know, everybody. Someone let the dog out. You know, and everyone thinks that they are who they like to be, or who they think they like as they are acting or edited.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how hard it is. People don't know how difficult it is to really do one of these things when you have to do it for someone else, not for yourself. And you know, even your own family doesn't want to watch your own stuff. I got my show. My family don't want to watch this. You know, I mean,
They don't know you have a show.
well, I'll tell you what I've done with it. I sent it FedEx, Amazon.com. You know, when you have a society of so much separation, which we spoke about in the first hour of the show, this is the trouble, because we don't all get together. Now, Mark knows this, and so does Jay. The best time that we had in the world was when people would get up and go to work. First of all, they had jobs. And they would go to work the next day and say, hey, did you hear what he said last night? Or did you hear what Ima said this morning or something?
Yeah.
You know, whatever the frame of reference was.
Right.
We all had a little, they used to say, gather around the water cooler. We don't have water coolers. But I did see a phone booth in New York. They put up a phone booth this week. I don't know why. Who's going to call
Maybe
anybody?
Clark
on a
Kent
phone?
is in town. And,
Pardon me?
Maybe Clark Kent is in town.
Is that-
right
yeah.
now.
Joey,
The
you're-
dressing room.
Joey, you're absolutely right. Seinfeld would say that watching Letterman at 12:35 and Carson at 11:30, it was event television. People
Yeah.
were watching,
Yeah.
and that does not exist
No.
anymore.
Well, did you see Letterman the other night on the Rock and Roll Induction Awards?
Oh, with Pearl Jam, he was phenomenal.
Did you see his face? What was he wearing?
He looks a little different.
A little?
Yeah,
He
I
looked like
think
Monty Woolley.
I think somebody needs
You know,
to
he's
shave
idol.
him.
Well, he had
down.
full growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby
saw it.
Hayes, full growth
Yeah.
of hair.
No, Gabby Hayes had whiskers.
Well, yeah. Well, whatever it was, he was. You didn't know it was David Letterman.
He looks significantly different than
But
you think since he
Eddie
departed.
Vedder was. I've had his brother on. He was
Really?
very dirty.
Really?
He had a dirty mouth. I loved having him on.
Excellent.
It was
We
wonderful.
should have
him
him on this
back.
hour.
Yeah. Well, we should have bring him back. You got to go to his house.
Okay, yes.
Letterman's, I mean.
Oh, Dave, I don't think that would go very well.
Why
No,
not?
he's had
You meet the
stalkers.
kid.
We don't
I
need that.
think
No.
yes. I think it didn't go well.
Someone did this already.
Yes,
Harry.
So
But
how
I
do
like
we watch
Dave.
your podcast? We should.
CarsonPodcast.com. We have some
Why
Carl
do you
Reiner's
Carson? Why
coming
don't you
up.
use your own name?
Because it's about Johnny Carson,
about
and
Johnny.
so Carson podcast.
Why don't you do it about you?
Marc Malkoff
Well, he
podcast.
does stuff about his.
I do stuff about me
He
too,
does,
but
yeah.
we have Carl Reiner's coming up, Peter Bogdanovich. We have some good episodes coming up soon.
So, how do you get your podcasts? Where do you go?
First
How
of all,
do
you got to
get
buy AT&T's phone plan,
Well, that too.
and then get unlimited data.
Right, unlimited data.
But you get a lower power if you with the
Yeah.
unlimited data.
Well, they slow you down.
after
They throttle
you've
you.
used a few
They
gigabytes.
throttle
You know, this is all full of crap. All the stuff that we do in the society, there's always a hook at the
Yeah.
end of it.
Yep. Read
Always
the
a hook.
disclaimers. Read the small print.
Your question. In Los Angeles, a lot of times I'll go to people's homes, offices. They'll invite me, and I'll just do the podcast that way normally. So yeah, it's been good. Over 100 of them.
If I wanted to look for it right now.
CarsonPodcast.com, iTunes, Carson Podcast. But you think I should change the name?
Yes, I think you ought to use your own name and be famous.
Or
for it.
Joey Reynolds.
Almost Famous. Did you see the movie?
I loved Almost Famous. I was on Cameron
Wasn't that
Crowe.
kid
I saw
great?
that. Yeah.
All right, and you see what happened with him? He was obsequious.
Yeah.
And he was non-threatening, and he also was brilliant and very kind. And it's like you. And
Thank
so
you.
for a video age, you could do what he did for the print in the publishing business for rock and roll.
We shall see.
But he wouldn't use he would not have used Mick Jagger's name. He would have used his own.
Probably, yes.
So why don't you use your name? And
Maybe I will.
You got to do that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something else. You know, Mike Cave, who owns the show, is the pink tie guy. You know, I mean, he started the pink tie. He and his brother Rich and the family they raise money for cancer. I'm plugging it in a way, but
And they're having a big event coming
But I
up.
want the event is this week. Next 21st, right? No, next Monday. When's the pink tie? Next Monday.
It's the 20.
Anyway, we got a baby in the family now. Mike
22nd.
had a baby the other day.
His
Well,
wife
he didn't
did.
have the baby. His wife
Right.
did. Jen is resting with the child,
Lovely.
3 days old now, I think it is. And he is a great guy, you know.
that's
And,
great.
and you should probably spend some time with him.
I'd
Take
love
some
to.
video with him.
I'd love to.
And
That's
come
really
to our pink tie event.
Okay. Yeah. Check it out for sure.
You should bring your equipment and come to the pink tie.
Yeah,
I'd love
you
to.
never know who you're going to
And-
bump into. A
yeah.
lot of celebs there.
Okay.
And
A
use
lot
your
of
own
celebs.
name.
Let me tell you something. Billing
We should take notes.
is
Yes.
everything.
It is.
Billing. Yes.
People kill for that in LA, and agents fight for position. You know, Steve McQueen. I'll tell you a very quick
love Steve
story.
McQueen,
Steve
yeah.
McQueen left Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid that he was going to make with Paul Newman because he wanted first billing.
Oh.
And Newman wouldn't give it to him. He left, and they got Redford, who took second billing. So billing, if you're in charge of your own fate,
Yeah.
call it markelliot.com.
I absolutely love this. I like this as a career intervention for me. My mom's going to pop out of the door.
Absolutely. Any second, smack you.
But that's how you get recognition.
Yes, I like
you
this.
know.
That was a show with Art Linkletter.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
Where someone would pop out of the door, or your mother would pop out of the door, and this is your life.
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah.
We've had a lot of history in radio and television that this generation doesn't understand because they're not experiencing it. They're experiencing crap. WKRP should be a big hit now. It should be every station should be W crap, because what we do is we put crap on the air. We argue about the most ridiculous things, and we have the same five people time and again. If I see Ryan Seacrest have another show, I'm going to vomit.
Yeah, now that he's with
nobody
Kelly
turns
Ripa.
the TV on to watch Ryan Seacrest. Nobody ever in history would do that. This is not one of the most engaging, wonderful, powerful people that you should be with. Now, if he walks, he's so famous, though, because of the New Year's thing, the persona. You know, the persona that, and this is a little guy, like, you know, he's not Dick Clark.
Who do you like? Who are some broadcasters?
I like
that you
everybody, but I
Except
don't. But I don't
Seacrest.
appreciate things that are crap. I just don't. I mean, I think we're a trash society right now. We got garbage on the air. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to encourage people like you.
Thank you.
And support people like Marc. Marc's brilliant. You know how many-
Prolific author.
well, know many successes he's had, and
Yeah.
everybody we have on the show tonight has got some sort of stripes.
absolutely.
The only thing was that Jay is here. You know,
Yeah, and
Other
I
than-
ruined it for everybody.
Jay, are you
All right,
going to
so-
take that, Jay?
I've been taking it for 40 years, so that's fine.
So who do we got now? Who you bringing up?
Well, we have Phoebe Legere.
No, you want to? You ever hear Phoebe?
I met Phoebe. She's lovely.
Do you ever watch her perform?
Not, no, I
Well,
never have
this
that.
is someone that is eye candy and ear candy.
Right.
And she's great. She plays my favorite instrument, the accordion. And she's got with her a wonderful.
Wonderful fiddler and
No, he's not. He's not only a fiddler.
Yeah.
He's a nominee for.
multi.
Yes, for the blues, Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
and you should really give him the proper billing.
Absolutely, and Greg Holt as well. So go for it.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Phoebe.
How you doing, Joey? So good to see you. My heart was broken, but my truck still worked. I drove away in a cloud of dirt. I said I won't let that jackass get me down. I drove to a bar on the wrong side of town where the whiskey flows like a river of gold. If you want to have fun, you must be bold. I walked through the swinging doors with no fear. 3 cowboys looked up and said, "What do we have here?" I said, "I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm drunk, and I'm able." I strapped on my squeeze box, jumped up on the table. I said, "Here's a toast to the drunks that you meet at Honky Tonks, where a girl can get whatever she wants when she's dancing on the table, breaking all the rules, shaking her patootie and feeling cool." And here's the hook: the wrong honky tonk at the right time. Wrong honky tonk at the right time. That's how you fall in love, honky tonkin'. That's how you fall in love. Usually an angel, but last night my wings got wet. I was just about as bad as a girl can get. I did a few things you might regret. In a bar on the wrong side of town, I was hammered, I was wasted, I was drunk, I was able. I strapped on my squeeze box, jumped up on the table. I said, "Here's a toast to the drunks you meet at honky tonks, where a girl can get anything she wants."
Sit over here.
Yeah, that is on the Roots chart right now. That's a real hit.
That's exactly. This is how Jerry Garcia got his start.
And his finish.
Come on, sit over here, Phoebe. Phoebe and Greg. This is an unusual performance. I think Chuck Barris would be very proud of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
The Gong Show is coming back.
What is?
The Gong Show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He screwed up Gary Owens. Gary Owens was the first host, and he had him on the first show, and then he decided to be the host himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Gary hated him for the rest of his life.
Well,
And did you know Prince had his first television appearance on The Gong Show?
No, I didn't know.
Yes, it's on the
I
YouTube.
like the unknown comic.
Murray Langston?
Yeah.
The unknown comic.
He's
I love
on
that.
my Facebook all the
Yeah.
time now, but I don't
He's
know
great.
why he's known.
Joey, it's so good to see you on the air, and you're such a magnificent host.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a big
Thank
fan,
you.
sincerely.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
glad to have you here because we need offbeat stuff.
Yeah.
And, I'm an offbeat guy. I know that. I know I'm over the top.
You're
or
left of
something.
center, yeah.
I mean, I never was claiming to be what Marv Albert.
No. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
No, I was a disc jockey in Syracuse, and Marv was too.
He was too, yeah.
And Marv used to be on the air on WOLF, and I was on WNDR opposite him.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to make fun of him because he went to Syracuse University. I didn't have that great privilege.
No.
But Marv used to get on the air. We'll have the first of 5 in a row, and here they come now. Here now, the Turtles. I thought, oh my God, go do basketball, will you?
And he did. Yes.
Yeah. And he had sexual problems.
I didn't know that.
Now wait.
What?
What?
Bill O'Reilly has sexual problems. Bill Cosby has sexual problems.
True.
Oh, yes.
Wait a minute. We're still going.
Allegedly,
Bill Clinton
yes.
has sexual problems.
Yes.
Maybe that's part of talent.
I have no sexual problems. They're all solved. No, you know, the sexual problems seem to be, everybody got here because somebody screwed. That's what happened.
That's how it works.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's
Oh,
lovely.
Love.
There should be a song. You should do a song like that. You know?
Good suggestion.
Yeah, really.
No, don't do that.
So that song that we just did, Wrong Honky Tonk, is number 26 on the Roots chart. And so, as you know, radio, it can be a tough little climb up the ice wall.
Oh, yeah.
And so we are just so thrilled and so honored to be on the chart. And the
Well-
Roots chart, which is all about Americana. It's really about the solid, real songs, real singing, and real playing.
Well, in jail, they play the harmonica. That's much more Americana. Now, Greg, where are you from?
I was born in California, but most of my adult life has been New York.
Yeah.
But I was 10 years in Nashville and 10 years in Florida when I got the gig with the National Hockey League. And I just came back from Europe. So I'm a New Yorker again as of a few months back.
Only the violin, or you play something else?
I play about 10 instruments, but
Yeah.
since I've moved back to New York, I've been focusing on the fiddle more.
I can tell you look a little like Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton. Another guy.
He wasn't.
I think he has better hair than I have.
Inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. He's in.
Well, he's a wonderful
Last year
actor.
you got it.
I mean, I could tell. I know that you had something more than you're letting on.
Thank you.
You have the humility. See, when someone has humility, then they're not like me.
Greg has played with so many people. Just give us a who's who, if you
Probably
don't mind.
Glenn
Who you've
Campbell.
Most of
performed
the big names I played with are people that were part of big bands, like part of Paul McCartney's band. I did play with Buddy Miles, who was in Jimi Hendrix's band. He and I had a band for a while back.
Yeah.
But just being in the studio here, I got to meet Marc. That was great. And Phoebe, I've actually known in passing since I was a kid. I mean, in the East Village, we're both East Village kids.
We've come a long way with the Village. The bitter end, which is what we talked about a little earlier, and the bottom line.
It's changed a lot.
It sure has.
It's much safer.
You can't even buy good weed over at Washington Square anymore. It's really awful.
A tragedy.
It's what?
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's tragic. Got rid of all our vices. Not what we have opiates. That's the big one now, right? What the hell is this thing about opiates that we have why do we have a national tragedy with opiates? What does that mean?
Because
does
you
that
can
mean
prescribe
everybody?
it.
Anybody got any OxyContin? I thought that was just Rush Limbaugh. Isn't he the only one that used that?
Apparently not.
Yeah, apparently he was not the only one.
You put him in that celebrity ranking you had before, only on the drug side.
The drug side.
drug side.
Why do we have all this on the air all the time about these negative things? Why don't we?
Because people are dying from it. That's why.
No. Well, that I understand. But people are dying from the stuff that's made in Mexico and Canada, which is fake
they put in it.
opiates,
Yes.
because they want to bargain instead of going to a real dealer like I did when I did my cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have his name?
Did you see the news now on CBS, late news? With Scott Pelley, I like him because he doesn't do anything with the news. He doesn't editorialize, just does the news. But they have 2-minute commercials. It's like infomercials for drugs.
Yeah.
What's the one for the liver cancer now?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many, and they all move in slow motion. Have you ever noticed that about those
But they're 2
drug
minutes
commercials?
long.
They all go like this, and they walk slowly, and they talk slowly.
First they tell you how great it is.
Yeah, and then they tell you how you're
tell you
gonna die
how
from
if
it.
you take it, it's going to kill you.
It's going to kill you.
Yeah. So what's the deal here? That we have everything's about medical. Everything's about medicine.
That's because
we just got rid of the Oprah. I mean, not Oprah. What is it? Obama's Oprah Care.
I want Oprah Care.
I want Oprah.
She got rid of that.
Listen, call it after me.
You have enough Gayle King. So what happens now when we have this disease, this opiate thing?
The real question is, can the news broadcasts that are sponsored by these medical
Pharmaceutical
supergroups,
companies,
pharmaceutical companies, can they criticize that? Can they talk honestly about that
they
without
don't-
losing their sponsorship?
Well,
No.
that's the danger. of having those kinds of sponsors.
I think that's the trade-off.
You know, between the 15 minutes that I got from Geico and the 22 minutes I got from WINS, I'm about a half hour into a lot of crap that I don't really need.
So where are you playing soon? You're going to be around. I know that.
Thank
we
you
got
for
somebody else
asking.
coming up here.
I'm going to
Stone
be
to
at
Stone?
I'm going to be at the Turning Point on May 12th, and that's in Nyack, New York, Piermont, New York. Actually, Piermont, New York. It's a wonderful club starting at 8:30. I'm going to be there with Greg and my whole band, 5 people. We're called the Bon Appetit Band.
You know, that's a very, very lovely town. I lived in Nyack for a couple
Beautiful
of years,
town.
and Rosie O'Donnell lives there. You know.
I know her very well. She's a good friend, very funny.
She's very funny and very nice
funny.
lady.
Very nice.
I mean, I make fun of her once in a while. Not these days because Trump already got on her, so I don't want to do that anymore. But you know,
she's a good lady.
she was a big supporter of Nyack, and when she adopted the marriage, and she lived there
I know the
famously.
wife, Kelly Carpenter.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
know them
I mean,
both very well. And of course, Rosie's Kids has done so much for children.
Yeah.
You know that I have a nonprofit that is called the Foundation for New American Art, and we bring art and music to the low-income children of our community.
Well, you know, every musician is low income. What are you talking about?
But the kids need art and
Yeah,
music.
seriously.
They need beauty.
Yeah.
And
Well, they need me too. They need a beast.
There you go. So look for their album Heart of Love.
They also need a
Heart
beat.
of Love.
Heart of Love, number 26 on the Roots chart.
There you go. It's very cool.
So you're in Nyack at where? What's the name of the place?
It's called the Turning Point.
Where is that? I
It's a
don't
very
remember that.
nice place. It's in
It's-
Piermont.
It's in Piermont. It's right on the river. It's gorgeous.
Well, there's that boat on the river that nobody lives in. That little thing. You've seen that houseboat on the river, right?
I haven't seen. I'd love to live in a houseboat.
Pete Seeger's old house. I think.
No, PC. He's on the other side of the He's on the Hudson other side.
The river Styx, I think.
I guess we got to go.
No, not yet.
Well, what do they keep waving their arms?
Well, because
they're waving their arms in the background like you used to do on the air
Well,
all the
I
time.
can't anymore, so
See, we're starting to have fun. You know, this is a party without booze. That's all
Yes,
this is.
it is. Well-
it's not supposed to be a format show. But you guys are treating it like a radio show. No. And look at what they've done to radio.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you what happened to radio.
Oh,
You want to
here we
hear
go.
this?
Go ahead.
All right, wake up.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's NAB.
Let's hear it.
It's
No, let's hear it.
NAB, not NAP.
No. All right, go
NAB.
ahead. No, tell
but
us.
it should be NAP.
Tell us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What happened was radio has towers. The towers serve a certain area.
Right.
And they have responsibility to the Congress. The FCC is ruled by Congress.
Correct.
It's all the Congress of the United States, not the President, the Congress. FCC, Federal Communications Commission, is under the U.S. Congress. They have allowed people to have a tower and a position for 6 or 5 years for AM, was it? And 7 for television, or the other way around?
I'm not sure
Other
of
way
the
around.
exact years.
And you don't own it. You don't own the airwaves. You just have the license for it,
Right.
for that territory.
You're a public trust.
But you have to have an ascertainment. You determine what the community needs, and then you have to live up to it.
Correct.
And anybody could walk into the station at any time during business hours and ask to see the public file.
Not anymore. It's
And if you were-
online now.
Yeah, well, they changed everything so that they can get away with their schemes.
Yeah.
So now what happened is you got a government that's taking payola. It's called lobbying. It's payola.
Yeah.
The thing they didn't like about us, they're doing. And then they let the equal time law go, you know, so people who were
Fairness
not
doctrine.
famous and didn't have a lot of money could run for office. So they got by that one through lobbying. So now they gave the store away. So 10 people own everything. And here's what happened now. They turned a public trust into real estate.
Yes.
Because you can buy all you want.
Right.
Now, not only did they screw around with ruining the business with real estate, but now they become what? Stock holders.
bankers.
So you got a guy like I mean, there's names. You know, Bob Pittman, who was the guy at MTV. They're gonna supposedly they're giving him $30 million to go away. Give me that, I'll go away too.
Yeah, right.
So you know, but this money that they're now using doesn't come from profit, and because there's no profit, they're almost bankrupt. That company. It doesn't come from profit. It comes from public people who are investing. So they're taking investment money and stealing. Because if you pay someone like Elvis Duran's going to be on the show here with us in June. He's a great guy, and he's very popular.
He's
you
on
know.
that. He works for that company that
Yeah,
you're
that
referring
company.
to. By
I
the
mean,
way.
you know, all these companies got a lot of. They got good talent. I'm not finding fault with everybody.
No.
I'm just saying that the game changed.
It did.
The government game is ruining everything.
Yeah, it used to be mom and pops owned radio
Well, because you
stations.
worked in that area in the tower. But now here's what happens. They take public money and use it for their own pleasure. So a company doesn't make money, but the people who run it do. How does that happen in your house?
Well,
you know,
I think you should
but
write a
why
book
doesn't
about
anyone
this.
ever say that on the air?
Well, we
because
just
they don't
did.
want to say it about pharmaceuticals.
Well, that's right.
We're doing it here,
Yeah.
which is probably very dangerous too, because we may not be here next week. But the fact
No,
of
I
the
think
matter,
we will.
the fact of the matter is that we are a company store. We have a company store, and I love who we're working with. Incidentally, this is not an indictment against anybody.
No, of course not.
No,
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
I just want to talk about. I'm bringing it up because it shows the corruption of
Yes.
the Congress.
Well, yeah.
I don't
whole
blame
idea.
the guys who take advantage of it.
No.
I blame the people who initiated it and let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called deregulation. The airlines would never be where they are if it wasn't deregulated. They would never be there. That's another one of these public trusts under Congress.
Mm-hmm.
FAA, FCC, the Federal Drug Administration with all the pharmaceuticals. We would never have any of this. It's all Congress. So what the hell is a Congress for? First of all, we need to get rid of every congressman on the planet. Every one of them. Go home. And then come back and audition for the job. And donate your time.
The problem with that, and we don't want to get political, but
Well,
we
we
have
just
to
did.
because we just did. The problem with that is most people in Congress, everybody hates the Congress, but they like their local guy because that person helps the community that they live in by constituents.
All right. Now let me tell you what we've done. Okay, now let me show you what we've done as a country. Listen to this one. This is just use your head for a minute. We have an interstate highway called 95.
Yeah.
It's built on federal money,
Yes,
paid for,
correct.
done,
Yeah.
done, supported, done. Okay, they have now added a lane so that you could have a faster transportation with less cars by paying a toll. So they added a lane. So now that highway has a toll on it for that particular
because
lane.
they had to pave the extra lane in
They
order
had
to
nothing.
do that.
It's who was they? You know what it is? The they are people out of work. Every single cab in New York, since Uber, has a T on the license plate.
Yeah.
Those T's are individual car owners who drive cabs.
Taxis.
We have a nation of morons. We allow this to happen. We have a city that likes to take the license fees and give them to drivers because they have SUVs or SOBs or whatever they want to call them, and they have that license. If you see a T on a license plate, that's a taxi and limo. That's because they got a license to pick up people. And we have more cars on the road who have licenses to drive, who pay a fee, than we have licensed drivers who are paying insurance and have automobiles. But you see what we've done?
Yeah.
We turn everything into cash. And trash. That's what we're doing. Now there's nobody in toll booths. They have automatic. You just drive through and it registers. It's robotics. And the only jobs you have are security jobs at the airport. They hire people to frisk you.
Yeah.
It's a professional massage.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
We're a country that's giving away the store. And we're not hiring anybody. And there's no jobs and there's no money except the guys on the top.
We should have a separate show for what we're doing. In fact, I started a radio station with a lot of people about this kind of thing.
Where? In New Jersey?
Yeah, I did. And it's all about how
And
they're thieves.
you brought a governor down, too.
Damn right. And we found out that most politicians and their fiefdoms are just that. They're thieves. So there you
So
go.
what do we do now? I mean, how do we get
Vote them out of office, but nobody does.
No,
That's
we
the
don't know
problem.
how. We don't know how. All right, now we
Okay.
got to do a little comedy.
We have some levity.
I've said enough. I've milked the snake. So
right.
so let's put Stone and Stone up here
Yeah,
now.
the twin brothers, Todd and Adam Stone.
They're very funny. They're
Yep.
very good, and they're my friends. And they may never be here again after what I just said.
So let's go.
Hey guys. Well, thank you. We're so glad that you've had us here. We met some great people. It's so good to see you. And we're going to talk a little bit about how Joey helped us once in a snowstorm. But anyway, we'll get to that a little later.
We're happy to be
Yeah,
here.
we are.
I'm Adam.
I'm Todd.
This is Todd. We're twins. As some of you might be able to see, I'm married, and she's Israeli, and I'm Jewish, so that's kind of like a big deal.
I'm
you
actually
know?
also Jewish, so it's exciting for me
Yeah,
too.
he's also Jewish,
Yeah.
so it's a big deal. And her name, believe it or not, is Mahor. And I love introducing her to people. Remember when I introduced
Sure
her
I
to you?
do,
I
yeah.
said, this is my my brother, and this is Mahor. Exactly. Yeah. And I love talking baby talk to her. I say, who's Mahor? You're Mahor. It's very nice.
You actually looks like Mahor, but in a good way. She's beautiful.
You're
I think
beautiful
she's a very
back
pretty
there. Yes.
girl.
You're beautiful.
Anyway, so it's nice. Adam has Mahor, but I do not. I'm single.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been asking me if I have a type. They're trying to help me out, and which I appreciate. And I was thinking about it, and it occurred to me that I don't really have a type because my last girlfriend was also Jewish and like pretty full-chested, and now I'm dating like a pretty flat-chested Italian guy. So like pretty different.
So he's got range.
I got a big range.
He's got range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But actually, but seriously, I actually have been dating guys. It's a new thing. We can talk about it.
Yep.
It's exciting for me. It's different, and there are new cues, and I'm a little nervous. So I was actually in an elevator recently, and which was nervous. I was nervous anyway, just being alone in an elevator.
Yeah, because we
together.
normally do most.
So that
things
was a
together.
big deal by itself. So I was alone in the elevator, and this guy comes in the elevator who is like good looking. I thought maybe he was gay. I don't know. I didn't even know I was gay. So it's a lot. Anyway, so who am I to judge? But he came in. I thought he was gay. Whatever. And he came in. And he breaks the silence, it was silent, and he breaks the silence by saying, "You smell," and which was weird, I thought. So I said, "Like what?" And he said, "Bad." So, at this point I could tell he was flirting with me, and pretty aggressively.
He was
so I was
flirting
like,
with you.
so I was like dirty bad, like naughty bad, like good bad.
Yeah.
And then he took a step away from me in the corner of the elevator, and I don't know. I thought he was trying to play hard to get, so I took a little step closer to him.
Yeah.
And then he pressed an emergency button or
Yeah,
something.
it's
And he
hard
then
to
ran
meet
away
people.
like a wimp. And
it's hard to meet people.
Very hard.
But it's interesting because a lot of people now have been asking me if I like men, and I find that a little offensive because, as you know, I'm married to a woman, to Mahor, and it's like. And I have 2 kids with her, and it's like just because we're twins doesn't mean that we have to come out at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll do it, but not right now.
Sure.
Okay. Give me some time.
Sure.
It's going to be tough on Mahor.
When they're a little older, the kids.
Exactly. It's
when they
going
can
to be hard for
understand,
the kids to
the
understand.
kids don't understand.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, a couple more things we want to say. I recently went to the doctor's office. We used to go together, and my doctor said that my cholesterol was a little high, and I said, "Oh, well, that's not good." And she said, "You have to start running." And I said, "Well, I don't like running." I said, "What about walking?" And she said, "No, walking won't do it because you need at least 20 minutes of a very elevated heart rate." And so I said, okay, well, in that case, what if I just got really nervous? Would that do it? And she couldn't think of a reason why not. So now what I do is, I told you, is I go to my local pharmacy every other day and I start shoplifting. And it's great. I'm like pouring sweat, like for 20 minutes, I just do it and I'm just burning carbs and I'm so nervous. I'm a nice little Jewish boy from, it's a big deal for me.
He looks great too.
To be still,
by the way,
and I put it back after 20 minutes and I've lost a lot of weight.
You
It's
look great. You really
so
do.
don't let anyone tell you have to run, okay? There are other ways of losing weight.
You look wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
And then, and so he went to a doctor by himself, and I actually went to a doctor recently, a new one, on my own, and because I had like a rash, like right here. It was in my inner thigh.
But inner thigh.
Because since he's here, I might as well point out. And so they get it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so he told me, I pointed out, and he said, "You have athlete's foot."
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, but there's nothing on my foot. It's here. And he said, "No, you have athlete's foot." And then he said, "Always put your socks on before your underwear."
Yeah.
Socks before underwear. And I was kind of perplexed. I didn't know what he was talking about. But then he explained that ultimately, otherwise, if you don't put your socks on first, then it can graze.
You bring all those
the germs. Your naked foot,
here. I know, it's horrible.
brushes against your
And
foot,
then
and then it
it's
brings the
horrible.
bacteria or the
Yeah.
fungus into this
Yeah.
area. I know it's disgusting.
I know.
But anyway, so we kept repeating that. Always put your socks on before your underwear. Socks before underwear.
Yeah.
And then he said, that's actually one of the most important things I learned in medical school. And I thought to myself, if that's one of the most important things that you learn in medical school, you should sue your medical school.
Yeah.
And I should also stop finding my doctors on Grindr.
Yeah,
and I did. And so I changed.
Yes.
And I've
the
learned.
last thing I just want to say is our grandmother passed away recently. She died after a long battle with her cleaning lady, and it was
terrible.
horrible.
Very
they
upsetting.
were fighting,
and
to
they
the
actually
death,
loved each
and they
other.
were
It was
pounding
very
each other.
sad.
It was horrible.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much,
guys. It's been fun being here. Thank you.
Stone and Stone.
Wow.
Come on, you guys.
Oh, man.
They're great.
Fantastic.
They're great.
Oh, God.
I always like these guys.
It's very good.
I met them in a blizzard.
Blizzard?
They were on the show when we did the show from the NASDAQ. And I had the car. And it was a blizzard, remember?
Yes.
So they couldn't get home and I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
so we pushed the car. Remember that? You guys?
Yeah.
On
That was-
77th Street.
It was a
East-
beautiful
yeah.
thing.
It
It was the
was. We
three of us,
bonded.
Joey. It was great.
It was the plow night.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you guys are great. And
Thank
you're at
you.
the pit, right?
Yes,
We're at the pit?
we are at the pit.
Now, what do they call it the pit? Why do they call a club the pit?
It's an acronym for People's Improv Theater. But pit,
Oh, I
there's
didn't
kind
know
of like a raw
has
sound
an
to it.
edginess
You know?
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It
it's
was
a
a
pit.
belt factory, wasn't it?
It might have been.
Yeah.
But it's
At
on
one
East
point.
24th Street.
Doesn't it have that balcony?
No. This
No, you-
actually used to be. It was a theater.
Yeah, so
beforehand.
maybe it was. I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
thought it was this belt factory where they used to have that balcony. There's a place that I thought was the pit.
Maybe the Triad. You're thinking on
No. The
72nd?
Triad
No.
definitely was a club, but
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this is a place where the foreman used to walk around and make sure they were doing their work.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Let's just go
that's
with
not-
that. Even
Really?
if
Go
it's
with it.
not
Even if
true.
it's not
I
true, it
like
doesn't
that.
matter.
It's a belt factory. Yeah.
But you've gotten so sharp and,
Oh,
and so
thank
wonderful,
you.
and I don't know why you're not on America's Got Talent.
I
don't know
know.
either. I
We
don't
should,
know.
or just
something,
whatever.
or our own show.
We
That's
should.
what we're working
we
on,
should
actually.
be hosting all of the late night shows. All
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
right.
Each one of them.
Colbert. Gone.
At the same time.
You know,
We can-
Kimmel
between
gone.
the two of us,
Yes.
we can manage,
Yes.
right?
No, but
Between
thank
all
you
of our
though.
voices, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully, after tonight's show, our
should,
career
uh,
will just.
You should
yeah, it's
sleep
gonna-
over with that other guy.
Yeah,
You should-
really.
you should
Just,
go to his-
find a place to stay. You
Let him sleep in your house.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he wants to sleep with him, do you?
Well, he was actually my first.
Yeah, oh, God,
No,
that's
I'm
inappropriate.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Mahor would not
Well,
approve
there
of
goes
that.
Lahore.
Yeah, I know. Mahor would not be happy. Yeah.
So you guys are great, and I
thank
love
you.
having you here. And I
Thank
hope
you.
that I didn't get too political. I did.
No.
I made a
No.
mistake
Not at
tonight.
all.
I started,
Why?
Well, because I went off on a.
It's all right.
Talent.
But it's all right.
Don't
It's
hate.
okay. You went
You
off
know,
on
and
the
I
FCC is
fine.
what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I do? I sit and I watch the television and I get pissed off.
I
I don't blame you.
And I'm tired of the news. I don't want to watch TV anymore. And then I see the people on the air, and they keep bringing the same people over and over again. And I'm wondering, not that it's not me. I've had a wonderful career, and I still do. I don't care about that. I'm not looking for fame. I would never was, and it's working just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has succeeded.
I think you're doing
By the way,
great.
I think the name of your show is hysterical. I didn't know whether it was a mistake or something.
you
Like,
thought
No,
I
he
died.
died 20 years ago.
no,
It
like
is
whether it was a mistake on your part.
hysterical.
Really funny name. That's
were
great.
talking
Well, do you see, we got your
Hysterical.
wife here. Hole. Hole.
Oh, wow.
Maho,
She's gonna
Maho,
love
and
that.
your hole.
That's it.
Oh,
Very
We got
good.
3 hoes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
All right, now I got a wonderful singer, so
Yeah.
we're going to be entertained here.
Great, let's hear it.
She was mistakenly introduced earlier by
stop.
We played the wrong cut.
No, we played.
Okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
No, it wasn't the wrong cut. It was that I mentioned that she sang it and she did not.
Yeah, and Michael Levine is never going to work for us again.
Never, ever again. No.
Now Sarah Partridge is here, right?
Sarah Partridge, who is a great jazz vocalist and songwriter.
Wait. Let me go up
And?
there. This with due respect to you.
All right, yeah,
you
go
don't
up
mind?
and- no.
I don't want to show my back.
Goodness. Come on up here.
All right. Now I don't know if this mic
It's
works
on.
or yours works.
It's
Doesn't
on.
matter.
It's
on.
on. You're good.
Okay. I was thinking of something when you were sitting there a while ago, and I meant to bring it up, but I would bring it up now. Do you ever remember Lorendo Almeida?
Yes.
I knew you from somewhere, and that's where I know you're from. It was the in L.A. at the.
I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm
I
saying
knew that we knew each other.
Yeah.
But I was trying. That's it.
Yeah, and I said, I know her. You're one of the most famous singers. See, L.A. does not have the reputation that New York has.
Right.
But New York doesn't have the reputation Paris has.
That's correct.
For jazz.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Annie Ross, who was Lambert Hendrickson Ross,
Mm-hmm.
in the early days, those who care enough to hear this, because I know there's a generation here that really says, who the hell is he talking about?
Right.
But Annie Ross opened a club in London and another one in Paris. It was called Annie Ross's Room, I think. No, it was there was a White Elephant in a place called the White Elephant. I just thought of all this when I'm seeing you there before.
And that was her club?
I forgot it, yeah. Annie Ross's club had Blossom Dearie.
Yeah.
And I was friends with her. And when I came to L.A. years later, I remember seeing you.
I remember meeting you.
Do you remember
Where?
the Et Cetera Club? Et Cetera? It was right across from me.
That I don't.
Well, I've seen you somewhere in L.A. I saw you perform,
Yeah.
and you have the most wonderful voice. And I was thinking,
Thank you.
I didn't pay her the respect.
Oh,
you know?
please.
So now we're gonna.
I'm just thrilled to be here.
Well, you're great, great, and I want you to. I want everybody to enjoy you now. So I'm gonna shut up and sit down.
All right.
Okay. All right, Sarah
we go.
Partridge.
I'm the belle of the blues, and it's easy to see if I win or I lose. It's all one to me. I was born on a shelf in the rare books library. I reside by myself with my books and my TV. I'm an old age pension for the fossilized routine. Anybody for nostalgia, put a record on and see. Here's a memory of olden days and a heartbreak grown cold. All that glitters isn't gold. You get no love for free. Oh, you live and you die, and I'll probably throw it away. But in the end, it's mine, and nobody has a right to say, go down lightly, go down silently. I'll go down screaming, give it back, it belongs to me. I'm the belle of the blues. I'm used to mingling with the creme de la creme of higher society. I promised them roses and an 8x10 of me. But when the party's over, they're all too glad to leave. Their children sing a sorrow. It's the same old routine. Yeah, they beg and they borrow someone else's misery. It's an easy act to follow, at least an easy one for me. Give me my tomorrows, you can have your memories. Like an old-fashioned fool, go down lightly,
Sarah Partridge.
Yes.
Wow.
Great players, too.
Yeah. It's a wonderful performance. You know, this is a variety show.
Yeah.
And if you were tuning this in to hear some polkas,
we may have that coming up.
It's the wrong night. With Stone and Stone, you'll see them at the Pit.
Yep.
Yes.
Marc Elliott is at the 92nd Street Y on Monday.
Tomorrow, Monday, 12
at
o'clock,
noon.
right?
And
The Pit
also
is May 20. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No.
It's May 23rd and June 7th.
Oh, so you got a
some
couple of
upcoming
appearances.
dates there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you deserve it.
Thank you.
And Sarah Partridge, we're going to get her album. What's it called, Jay?
It is called Bright Lights and Promises Redefining Janice Ian.
Yeah. And Janice Ian, of course, is one of my favorite artists, too. And we got Frankie Hudak, who's a friar would-be.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he pays his dues, they'll have him back there. So that's it. Jay Sorensen, thank you. You're great.
No
and
problem.
also Russ Markowitz and company.
Yeah.
Mention all the guys here.
Everybody here, all the engineers from Cumulus, thank you very much, everybody.
Cumulus is
Thank
the
you, very
greatest.
good.
They're
Yep.
the greatest. They're the
Excellent.
best.
All right.
And I want to thank everybody for this wonderful opportunity to be on the air with freedom and expression. We can even talk about what we don't like.
Exactly.
To the people who don't like us to say it.
Right. Oh, well.
And that's the freedom. That's what's great. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here tonight. And Brian Ray. And who else was on here tonight?
We had so many. We have to
Phoebe
run.
and Greg.
Yep.
And all the great
Yep.
people.
And
The
Brian
other Marc.
right there.
The other Marc.
Tova Feldshuh.
Yeah, Tova. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be back
This has
next
been the
next
Late
week.
Joey Reynolds Show, Sunday Night Live. You can catch this and other editions of the Late Joey Reynolds Show on your device of choice anytime at SundayNightLive.com. We'll be back live from New York City with another 2 hours of the future of radio and TV. Next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly in Los Angeles. From all of us at the Late Joey Reynolds Show, have a big week.